In this class, we're going to go over past exam question of Waec 2024 mathematics objective question. So let's start with the first question. Question 1. Multiply 3.4 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5 by 7.1 times 10 raised to the power of 8 and leave your answer in standard form. Option A, 2.414 times 10 raised to the power of 2. Option B, 2.414 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Option C, 2.414 times 10 raised to the power of 4. And option D, 2.414 times 10 raised to the power of 5. Okay? The question says you should multiply 3.4 by times 10 raised to the power of negative 5 by 7.1 times 10 raised to the power of 8. Now, please, I want you to pay attention. This question that you see here, what you see here is called a standard form. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Now, we are also asked to leave our answer in standard form. First, take the product of 3.4 and 7.1. If you take the product of 3.4 and 7.1, we are going to have 24.14. You understand? We are going to have 24.14. Now, the next step is that you are going to take the product of 10 raised to the power of negative 5 and 10 raised to the power of 8. If you take the product of 10 raised to the power of negative 5 and 10 raised to the power of 8, according to the laws of indices, if you have a raised to the power of b multiplied by a raised to the power of c, that will be what? A raised to the power of b plus c. Okay? So we have 10 raised to the power of negative 5 and 10 raised to the power of 8. We're going to have negative 5 times 10 raised to the power of 8. We're going to have 10 raised to the power of negative 5 plus 8, right? So now, imagine you owing someone negative 5 naira and you have 8 naira. If you pay the 8 naira, how much change are you going to collect? Of course, you're going to collect 3 naira. So that means I'm going to have 10 raised to the power of 3, okay? So here, I'm going to have 24.14 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Now, if you check the option, you will discover that there is no 24.14 times 3 raised to the power of 3. What we have in the option are 2.414. Are you getting it? So, in an attempt to, you can change this to standard form. I mean, this answer that you have here can be written as this. 2. Now, if this decimal point move 1 times to the left hand side, the power which 10 carries will increase by 1, right? From your standard form. This is just basic standard form, you understand? So for this, I'm going to have 2.414 times 10 raised to the power of 3 plus 1, that is what? 4. Okay? Now, if you check the option, you are going to discover that you're going to see something like this. So, if you got here and you discover that, maybe you are going to tell yourself that there is no answer. That's not it, okay? Make sure you verify before you assume. Now, this one that you see here, the right option to that question will be option C. That is 2.414 times 10 raised to the power of 4, okay? Now, let's proceed to the second question. Given that P equals to a subset of P, where P is 1 less than P and less than 20, this is a set theory question. We are given that P being a subset of P, 1 is less than P, less than 20, and then where P is an integer, and R, we have another set R, such that 0 is less than or equals to R, less than or equals to 25. Okay? Where R is a multiple of 4. This R that you see here, this P that you see here, P is an integer. Integer a positive number, okay? Now, R is a multiple of 4. R is a multiple of 4. Now, listen, I want you to pay attention. The goals of the question is that we are asked to find P intersection R. Now, I'm very sure you are well versed in set theory. P intersection R simply means that you are going to check the element that is common to set P and set R. Do you understand? Okay. Now, if you have to first interpret this and this. You understand what I'm saying? Because this connotes that we have P. The elements that are found in P are 1 is less than P and P is less than 20, it signifies that P is greater than 1. It ranges from 1 to 19. You understand? Because you can see that 1 is less than P. 1 is less than P means that P is greater than 1. You understand? So P can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you look at the second part, P is less than 20. You will discover that if P is less than 20, what are the numbers that are less than 20? We have 19, right? We have 18. Are you there? So for this, I'm going to have the element that are found in P right now in set P will be 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay? So these are the elements that are found in P. Now, for set R, we have 0 is less than or equals to R. Are you there? And R is less than or equals to 24. And we now have that R is a multiple of 4. Now listen, a multiple of 4 simply means that R increased by 4. That means the first number that will be there, the first element of R will be 4. Are you there? Because if 0 is less than or equals to R, 0 is not, is just a neutral number. So if you add 4 to 0, what are you going to have? 4, right? Yes. From the question, we've been given that R is a multiple of 4. So if you add 0 to 4, you're going to have what? 4. 4 plus 4, 8. 8 plus 4, 12. 12 plus 4, 16. 16 plus 4, 20. 20 plus 4, 24. You can see now. So the set for R, the element that are found in R are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. Okay, those are the elements that are found in R. Oh, this should be 5. Okay, sorry. R is less than or equals to 25. Now, because we are told in the question that R is a multiple of 4, we are going to stop at 24. Okay. Now, having gotten the element of P and element of R, we can now proceed to find P intersection R. I told you that intersection means the element that is common to both P and R. You understand? All these things that you have in the bracket are called elements. Now, what are the values? What are the numbers that are common to this and this? We have 4. P intersection R. We have 4. 4. We have 8. We have 12. We have 16. 16. Yes, these are the elements 4, 8, 12, 16. These are the elements that are common to P and R. See, this sign that you see here means that we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? To 19. So now, the elements that are common to both P and set R is 4, 8, 12, and 16. Now, if you check the option A says 4, 8, 10, 10, 16. Option B, 4, 8, 12, 16. Option C, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Option D, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. The right option to that question is option B, 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay, so let's proceed to the next question. The first term of an arithmetic progression is 2, and the last term is 29. Please pay attention. The first term of an arithmetic progression is 2, and the last term is 29. If the common difference is 3, how many terms are in the AP? Now listen, the first term of an arithmetic progression is 2. Let's say A is equals to 2. Are you there? That's the first term. The first term in an AP is represented as A. Okay. Now we are given in the question as well that the last term is 29. So let us represent as L. Last term is equals to 29. Okay. If the common difference is 3, the common difference, you know that arithmetic progression is a kind of sequence that each successive term in the sequence differs by a constant number. That number is what we call the common difference. You understand? So if you missed our class on sequence and series, make sure you watch those classes. Okay, so now we have this: A equals to 2, L equals to 29, and B equals to 3. So how do we find the numbers of terms that are in the AP? Numbers of terms that are in the AP, that is what we have to find. Numbers of terms contains in the AP. Now, we can get the numbers of terms from the last term. You understand? Listen to me. Let's say we have a sequence. Please pay attention. Let's say we have a sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Let's say we have this sequence. This type of sequence is what we call arithmetic, right? Yes, because this the successive term differs by a constant common difference, which is 2. Do you understand? So now, the first term here is 2, right? The second term is 4. The third term is 6. The fourth term is 8. The fifth term, which is this, is 10. Now, the last term is 18, right? You understand? The last term is 18. This is the last term. Last term is 18. Now, this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So that means that the last term is the ninth term. So the numbers of term contained in this arithmetic sequence is 9. You understand? This arithmetic sequence has the total numbers of 9 terms. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So we can easily get the numbers of terms from the last term. Now, to do that, don't forget that the general formula for an arithmetic progression, you understand? The general formula for finding the nth term of an arithmetic progression is Tn is equals to a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d, where Tn is the numbers of term, you understand? The term that you want to find, and a is the first term and d is the common difference. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Now, the position of the last term is what we call n, you understand? So we can easily get the value of n from the last term, and the last term that we've been given is 29. So I'm going to have 29 is equals to a is 2 plus n minus 1. We don't know the value of n, you understand? The value of n will tells us the numbers of term contains in the arithmetic progression, okay? So we have n minus 1 as well, multiplied by d. d is what? 3. So I'm going to have multiplied by 3 here. So here I'm going to have 29 is equals to 2 plus 3n minus 3, okay? Now, having gotten to this point, the next step is to collect like terms. If you want to collect like terms, you're going to have, okay, let's do it step by step. 29 equals to 2 plus n minus 3. I'm going to have this. 29, 2 minus 3 is minus 1. So I'm going to have 29 equals to 3n minus 1. 29, if this minus 1 crosses the equals to sign, I'm going to have plus 1 equals to 3n. So 3n equals to 30. This over 3 and this over 3. n is equals to 10. So the numbers of term contains in the sequence is 10. Do you understand? The numbers of term that the sequence, the arithmetic progression has is 10. Do you understand? So option A we have 8, option B we have 9, option C 10, option D 11. The right option to that question is option C, which is 10. Okay, so if you have any question, let me know. Okay, let's proceed to the next question. Express in index form log x base a plus log y base a equals to 3. We are asked to express log x base a plus log y base a in index form equals to 3. Okay, option A, x plus y equals to 3. Option B, xy equals to 3. Option C, x plus y equals to a raised to the power of 3. And option D, xy equals to a raised to the power of 3. Now, if you want to express this in index form, you know that there is a law of logarithm that if you have log y base 10 equals to x in logarithmic form, you see this expression that you see here is in logarithmic form. Now, if you want to express this in index form, this base will this base will carry this. You understand? So I'm going to have 10 raised to the power of x, and it will be equivalent to this equals to y. Do you understand? Okay, you have already expressed this in index form. Now, another law of logarithm says that the sum of a log, maybe log a or log x, let's use log a, log x plus log y base a will be the product of that log xy base a. The sum of a log is the product of the log. That is this law of logarithm. Okay, now we want to apply the same. You are going to apply these rules, both rules in this question. Okay, the first rule that you're going to apply is this. So the left hand side of this equation can be written as log the product of xy base a equals to 3. Now, according to this rule is used to express a logarithmic, maybe a logarithmic function or a logarithmic equation in an indices form. You understand? So, and I told you that this base will carry this x, and this x will be equivalent to what you have here. Now, that means that this a will take this 3. You understand? And this 3 will be equivalent to what you have here. So I'm going to have in index form, this can be a raised to the power of 3 equals to xy. Do you understand? Are you there? A raised to the power of 3 equals to xy. Now, if you look at the question, option A is not correct, option B is incorrect, option C is incorrect, option D is correct. Option D is xy equals to a raised to the power of 3. It's still the same thing. Xy equals to a raised to the power of 3. Do you understand? Okay, so option D is correct. Now, let's proceed to the next question. Now, we are asked to simplify 2p minus q squared. Simplify 2p minus q squared minus p plus q squared. 2p minus q squared minus p plus q squared. Okay, now how do we simplify this? Well, to simplify this, all you have to do is that just expand. Okay, if you are part of our class on expansion, this should be simple for you. Now, let's proceed. Let us deal with this first. For this, I'm going to have 2p minus q, then 2p minus q. Okay, 2p minus q, then 2p minus q, because it is raised to the power of 2. Do you understand? Minus, open a big bracket, p plus q, then p plus q. Do you understand? Okay. Now, 2p times 2p, that is 4p squared. 2p times negative q, that is negative 2pq. Okay, negative q times 2p, that is negative 2pq. Then negative q times negative q, that is plus q squared. Minus, now, if you take the expansion of this, open the bracket, p times p, that is p squared, plus p times q, that is pq. Q times p, that is what? pq. Then q times q, that is what? Plus q squared. Okay, so now the next step is that you have to collect like terms first. So I'm going to have 4p squared minus 2pq minus 2pq. That is what? Minus 4pq, right? So I'm going to have plus q squared equals to, okay, it's a negative sign, sorry. Minus p squared, put the bracket, plus pq, that is what? Plus 2pq plus q squared. Okay, now having gotten to this point, the next step is that you have to open the bracket using this negative sign. So I'm going to have 4p squared minus 4pq plus q squared minus p squared minus 2pq, then minus q squared. Okay, now is there anything, is there any like thing that we can connect together? Well, there is. We have 4p squared here, we have negative p squared here. So, and you know that, please pay attention, you know that 4p squared minus p squared, that is what? 3p squared, right? Yes. Negative 4pq, negative 2pq, that's what? Negative 6pq, right? Sorry, this is q. Then we have plus q squared minus q squared. Plus q squared minus q squared. This will cancel each other, you understand? So we are left with this. Now let's go to the options. I'm coming. So let's if you check the option, we have option A. Option A is 3p 3p multiplied by p minus 2q. Option B, 2p multiplied by p minus 3q. Option C, 3p multiplied by 2p minus q. Option D, 2p multiplied by 3p minus q. Now, you have to factorize. Do you understand? You have to factorize. So let us factorize. What is common to both 3p squared and 6pq? What is common is 3p. You understand? So I'm going to have factorize 3p out. You're going to have 3p multiplied by p minus 2q. If you open the bracket, 3p times p, that is what? 3p squared. Okay? 3p times negative 2q, that is what? Negative 6pq. Do you understand? So now, which option corresponds to what we have here? The option that corresponds to what we have here is that is option A. Okay? Option A is the correct option. Do you understand? Okay, so now let us proceed to the next question. If 3 minus 4 root 2 multiplied by 1 plus 3 root 2 is equals to a plus b root 2, what is the value of b? Okay, I want you to pay attention. Okay, now we are given that if 3 minus 2 root 2, 3 minus, okay, let's go. Okay, minus 4 root 2 multiplied by 1 plus 3 root 2 equals to a plus b root 2. Let me erase that aspect. Equals to a plus b root 2. A plus b root 2. Now, we are asked to find the value of b. Now, we cannot get the value of b without simplifying the left-hand side, okay? See, let me tell you. When you simplify the left-hand side, you are going to have an expression that looks like this, okay? So, you are going to compare both sides. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, let's go. Let us simplify this. 3 times 1, that is what? 3, right? Yes. 3 times 3 root 2, that is what? Plus 9 root 2. Negative 4 root 2 times 1, that is what? Negative 4 root 2, right? Negative 4 root 2 times positive 3 root 2, that is what? Let us do it. Maybe you might be wondering, negative 4 root 2 times 3 root 2, that's the last one. This multiply this. Negative 4 times 3, that is what? Negative 12, right? Root 2 times root 2, that is what? Root 4. Root of 4 is what? That is, if you take the square root of 4, that is 2. I'm going to have negative 12 times 2. That is what? Negative 24, right? Okay. Now, for this, I'm going to have negative 24. So, don't forget the right-hand side. A plus b root 2. Do you understand? Now, for this, I'm going to have 3. Now, because you can, this and this can be summed and be subtracted together because they both have root 2. You understand? So, plus 9 minus 4, that is what? Plus 5. So, I'm going to have plus 5 root 2 minus 24. Okay? Now, please pay attention. Minus 24 plus 3, that is what? Negative 21. So, I'm going to have negative 21 plus 5 root 2. Now, we have simplified the left-hand side of the equation. So, I'm going to have this a plus b root 2, yes. Then, a plus b root 2. Now, if you compare this and this together, the goal is to determine the value of a, the value of b, right? Yes. Now, if you compare this and this together, you can see that a will be what? 21, because a is not attached to root 2, you understand? But our goal is to find the value of b. So, the value of b here will be plus 5 or 5, you understand? Because 5 is attached to root 2, and if you compare the left-hand side and the right-hand side, you will discover that 5 belongs to b, you understand? Because it is only 5 that is attached to root 2. So the final answer to that question is 5, which means that option A is correct. Do you understand? Okay. Now, for question 7, the next question. Find the time for which 1,250 will amount to 2,000. Okay, $1,250 will amount to $2,031.25 at 12.5% per annum in simple interest. A 2 years, B 3 years, C 4 years, D 5 years. Okay. Now let us do you see, you can do this you can solve this question in 2 ways. Okay, you can progress step by step, and you can use the formula for compound interest. Okay, let us start by writing out the information that we are given in the question. We are given that we are asked to find the time. Okay, yes, we are asked to find the time which $1,250. Now look at that expression. Look at that statement. Which $1,250? That means $1,250 is the principal. Okay, so the principal in this question is $1,250. Okay, now we amount to $2,031.25. So the amount in the question is $2,031. $231.25. Okay, at 12% per annum. So the rate that we are given, the rate is 12%, 12.5, sorry, 12.5% per annum. Now, okay, per annum simple interest. We have to find the time. Now, before we can get the time, we first have to determine the interest. Do you understand? Before we can get the time, you first have to determine the interest. Now, don't forget that the relationship that exists between amount, interest, and principal is this. Amount is equals to principal plus interest. Okay? Always remember this formula. Before you can determine the time which this dollar will amount to this, you first need the interest. You understand? It is from that interest that you're going to get the time. Okay, and the relationship that exists between the amount, principal, and interest of is this. Amount is equals to principal plus interest. Do you understand? Okay, now the amount that we are given is 2031.25. So I'm going to have 2031.25 is equals to the principal. The principal is this 1250 plus interest. Okay, the interest will now be 2031.25 minus 1250. So the interest here will be $781.25. $781.25. Now, this is the interest. Now, we can now use the formula for simple interest to determine the time. You understand? So we can get the time from this formula. Simple interest. Let me go this. Simple interest is equals to principal times rate times time all over 100. Okay, so the interest is what? 781.25 is equals to the principal. The principal is what? $1,250 multiplied by the rate. The rate is what? 12.5. Okay, so I'm going to have multiply 12.5 multiplied by the time. We don't know the time. The time is the unknown value that we are looking for. So let us put the multiply time all over 100. Okay, so if you make the time the subject of the formula, you're going to have 1250 times 12.5 times t is equals to 781.25 times 100. Okay, so divide both by 1250 times 12.5. This over 1250 times 12.5. Okay, this is 100. Okay, so the time will be equals to, now I'm very sure you are aware that this will cancel this. So this divided by this, what will be the answer? That is 25 years. Oh, 25. That is 25 years. Now, let us look at the right option to that question. 25 years. Okay, now, so option A, we have 2 years, option B, 3 years, option C, 4 years, option D, 25 years. So option D is correct. Do you understand? Option D is correct. Now, that is the solution to that question. Okay, now the next question says the next question, if log 2x minus 1 base 3 equals to 5, find the value of x. A 8, B 16, C 64, D 122. If log 2x minus 1 base 3 is equals to 5, find the value of x. Log 2x minus 1, okay, 2x minus 1 base 3 equals to 5. You are asked to find the value of x. Now, don't forget that I taught you two laws of logarithm of recent. Just a reminder. If you want to change this equation to an index form, how are you going to do it? This base will carry what you have here, and you're going to is going to be equivalent to what you have here. Do you understand? That is, I'm going to have, if you want to solve for the value of x, you first have to change this to index form. Do you understand? So that means I'm going to have 3 raised to the power of 5, or 2x minus 1 equals to 3 raised to the power of 5. Okay, this base will carry the 5 that you have there, and then you are going to you're going to make it equals to what you have here, which is 2x minus 1. Okay, just like what we did in question 4. Okay, now, so for this 2x, I'm going to have 2x minus 1 equals to, now 3 raised to the power of 5 is 243. So I'm going to have 243. So 2x is equals to, now if this negative 1 crosses the equals to sign, it's going to change to positive. So I'm going to have 244. The value of x, to get the value of x, divide by 2. So x is equals to 122. Okay, let's look at the right option. Option A, we have 8. Option B, 16. C, 64. Option D, 122. 122 is correct. That is the correct option. Okay, so the next question. The population of a town increases by 3% every year. In the year 2000, the population was 3,000. Find the population in the year 2003. Option A, we have 3,182. Option B, 3,278. Option C, 6,591. Option D, 7,515. Okay, choose your option wisely. Okay, you can solve this using two methods. Okay, you can solve it step by step, and you can use the formula. You can just use direct formula to solve it. Okay, you can solve it step by step if you like. And because this is an objective question, so nobody will demand your the examiner will not demand your solution. Okay, like it's an objective question, so you are expected just to fill in the options. Okay, so nobody will be asking you that, how do you get this, how do you get this. Now let us solve. The population of a town increases by 3% every year. Now I want to use the first method now. Okay, I'm still going to use the formula method, the direct method. The population of a town increases by 3% every year. So the percentage increase is what? Yes, the percentage increase is 3%. Okay, every year. In the year 2000, the population is 3,000. Okay, in the year 2000, the population is 3,000, and in the year 2000, find the population in the year 2003. We have to find the population 2003. In the year 2003, we have to find the population. We don't know the population. Now, please, I want to pay attention. The population in 2000 is this, and we've been told that the population of this town increases by 3% every year. So let us check the population in 2000. The population will be 3/100, which is 3%, multiplied by 3,000. I mean, in the year 2001. In the year 2001, the population will be 3% of 3,000. 3% of 3,000 plus 3,000. I'm going to explain, just pay attention. See, to get the population of the country in 3 years' time, that is 2003. So the population of the year 2001 will be 3% of the population of the previous year, which is 3,000, plus the population of the previous year. Do you understand? Because we have made to know in the question that the population increased by 3% annually, and annually means year by year. Do you understand? Okay, so let us proceed. For this, I'm going to have, now 3% of 3,000, that is what? 90. Okay, 3% of 3,000 is 90. So I'm going to have 90 here plus this 3,000. That is 3,090. Okay, now that is the population at the end of the year 2001. Okay, now let us look at the population at the end of the year 2002. So this, I'm going to have 2002, year 2002. That will be 3% of the year 3% of the population of the year 2001. That is 3%, which is 3,100 times 3,090 plus 3,090. Okay, now 3% of 3,090, that is 92.7. 92.7 plus 3,090. Now, if you punch your calculator, you're going to have 3,182.7. 3,182.7. Okay, now for the year 2003, we have 3% of the previous population, which is 3,182.7 plus 3,182.7. Now, if you punch your calculator, 3%, okay, 3% of 3,182.7, that will be 95.481. 95.481 plus 3,182.7. Now add 95.481 and 3,182.7. Add it together. That is 3,278. So the final population, 3,278. Yes, 3,278. That's the final population. Do you understand? So the population at the end of the year 2003 is 3,278. Now let's look at the correct option. Option A, we have 3,182. Option B, we have 3,278. Option C, we have 591. Option D, we have 7,515. The right option to that question is option D. Option B is correct, 3,278. Do you understand? Let us proceed to the next question. A trader gave a change of 540 naira instead of 570 naira to a customer. Calculate the percentage error. Okay, let's start by writing out the information that we are given in the question. We are told that a trader gave a change of 540 naira. So this is the change that was given, 540 naira, instead of, now pay attention, listen, this is the change that the trader give, change given, okay? Now instead of 570 naira, this is the change that the trader is supposed to give the customer, okay? Are you listening? This is the change that the customer gave, the trader gave the customer instead of this actual change. This is the change that the trader gave the customer instead of this. Are you paying attention? Now, we are asked to calculate the percentage error. Now, listen. Percentage error, the percentage error is equals to error over actual value. Actual value multiplied by 100. Okay, this is the formula for calculating percentage error. Now, what is the meaning of error? now the trader want to give, instead of giving this change to the customer, he gave this. The error is the difference between the actual value and the mistaken value. You understand? The value that was supposed to be given and the value that was given. Do you understand now? The change that's supposed to be given and the change that was eventually given. So the difference between those two will give us the error. In that case, the error in this question, the error is 570 minus 540. Okay, 570 minus 540, that is 30 naira. That is the error. You understand? Now let us calculate the percentage error. Percentage error will be equals to the error, which is the 30 naira, all over the actual value. The change that the trader is supposed to give is the actual value. Do you understand? Listen to the explanation again. The change that the trader is supposed to give to the customer is what we call the actual value. Now, the actual value is 570 naira. So I'm going to have this 570 naira multiplied by 100. So 30 divided by 570 multiplied by 100. That will give us if you want to change to mixed fraction, this will cancel this. So we are going to have 30 times 10, that is 300 over 57. Now this will be 5 whole number. Let me check. 5 whole number 5 over 19 in mixed fraction. Do you understand? This 0 cancel this 0. This 9 cancel this 0. 30 times 10 is 300. And this over 57. That is 5 over 519. Now, 5 over 19. Now, I want to pay attention. Option A says 5 whole number 519. 5 whole number 5 over 19 percent. Option B, 5 whole number 5 over 9. Option C, 5 whole number 7 over 19. Option D, 5 whole number 7 over 9. The right option is option A. Do you understand? Okay. Now, for the next question, we have an interior angle of a regular polygon is 168 degrees. Find numbers of sides of the polygon. A 30, B 24, C 15, D 12. We are given that an interior angle. Now listen, what's the meaning of a regular polygon? A regular polygon is a type of polygon that has all the sides equal and all its angles are equal. Do you understand? A regular polygon is a polygon that has the sides and the angles are equal. Now, we are given that an interior angle. Do you know the meaning of that statement? That statement means one of the interior angle is 168 degrees. Do you understand? So, let's interpret the question. One of the interior angle 168 degrees. Now, if one of the interior angle is 168 degrees, we are asked to find the numbers of sides. We don't know the type of polygon that it is. We are only given a single interior angle. Now, we can determine the numbers of sides. Please pay attention. We can determine the numbers of sides from the sum of the interior angles of a regular polygon. Now, pay attention. Let's say the list of all polygon is what? Is triangle, right? Equilateral triangle. A regular polygon now. Equilateral triangle. And we know that in a triangle we have 3 angles and 3 sides. And equilateral triangle is a typical example of a regular polygon. So let's say I drew out a rectangle. A triangle, sorry. This is an equilateral triangle. You know that all the angles will be 60 degrees, right? 60 degree, 60 degree. And the sum of the angles is what? 180 degree, right? Now, the formula for sum of the angle in a regular polygon is what? N minus 2 multiplied by 180. This is the formula that I'm going to use to calculate the sum of angles in a regular polygon. Do you understand? Now, if I want to get, please pay attention. If I want to get the numbers of sides that the polygon has, I can divide the sum of angle by the numbers of angles that the polygon has. Do you understand? Listen to me. The sum of angle in a regular polygon is n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degree. Is that not it? For example, let's take this triangle for example. The sum of angles in this triangle is what? 180. 180 divided by, if I'm giving only one angle, let's say I'm giving a single angle, which is 60. 180 divided by 60 will be what? 3, right? Yes. Because sum of angle, now, the sum of angles in this triangle is 180. We are only given a single angle, right? We are given a single angle, which is what? 60. Now, 180 divided by 60 will give me 3. That means that this triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles. Now, back to the question. We are given only one angle. And we know that the formula for calculating the sum of angles in the triangle is what? N minus 2 multiplied by 180 degree. Now, if you divide the sum of angle by the numbers of sides, you are going to get each angle. You understand? You are going to get the value of each angle. Like, if you divide the sum of angle, let's take for instance this triangle again. The sum of angle in this triangle is what? 180, right? The sum of angle is 180. 180 divided by the numbers of sides. Total numbers of sides is what? 3. 1, 2, 3. So 180 divided by 3 will give me what? One angle, right? 180 divided by 3 will give me 60. So you can see that 60 is one of the angles in this triangle. Are you paying attention? So the same thing is what we're going to apply here. Since we've been given that one interior angle is 168 degrees. Now, if we divide the sum of the angles in that polygon by the numbers of sides, we're going to get an interior angle. Do you understand? We're going to get one interior angle. So that's why I lay emphasis on this. I use this as an example. Now, for this I'm going to have, but we don't even know the type of a polygon that it is. We don't know the type of polygon that we don't know the type of polygon that it is. So let us just use the sum of angles in a regular polygon. The sum of angles in a regular polygon is what? N minus 2. Sum of angle in a regular polygon all over n will give us the angle. You understand? One interior angle. One interior angles. Do you understand? Sum of angles in a regular polygon divided by the numbers of sides will give us one interior angle. Master this formula, okay? So, having established that point, we cannot proceed as follows. Sum of angles is what? We don't know it, but we know the formula, which is n minus 2 multiplied by 180 all over n, which is numbers of sides, will give us 168 degree. 168, okay? For this, I'm going to have 180n minus 360 all over n is equals to 168, okay? 180n minus 360 is equals to 168n. Do you understand? Okay? Collect like times. 180n minus 168n is equals to 360. Okay? 180n minus 168n, that is 12n. 12n is equals to 360. So to get the value of n, divide by 12. This over 12 and this over 12. N is equals to 30. Okay? So the numbers of sides that the polygon has is 30. Do you understand? Okay, let's look at the option that we have. We have option A. Option A 30. Option B 24. Option C 15. Option D we have 12. The right option to that question is option A, which is 30. Do you understand? Okay, so let us proceed to the next question. If 3x minus 2y equals to negative 5, 3x minus 2y equals to negative 5. Okay, please. Perhaps if you didn't understand how I got the value of n as 30, listen to the explanation again, okay? It's simple. We are given that one interior angle of a regular polygon is this. I'm just laying that I just feel like explaining what we did in the in the previous question. Now, when you divide the sum of angles in a regular polygon by the numbers of sides, you're going to get a single interior angle. Are you paying attention? So now, and that's what I did. You know, the formula for the sum of angle in a regular polygon is what? N minus 2 multiplied by 180 degree all over n. Are you getting it? So now I equate it to the single interior angle that I was given. So, and I solve for the value of n, which is the numbers of sides. Do you understand? Okay, now back to the question. We have 3x minus 2y equals to minus 5. And then the second equation is x plus 2y equals to 9. X plus 2y equals to 9. We are asked to find the value of x minus y all over x plus y. Find the value of x minus y all over x plus y. Now, before we can get the value of x minus y all over x plus y, we first need to determine the value of x and y. Is that not it? So we need to solve the equation simultaneously. Now, in solving this equation simultaneously, you can easily use elimination method. Do you know? You can easily eliminate y because you can easily eliminate y by adding both equations. Do you understand? Okay, let us add 3x plus x. I'm going to add 4x. Negative 2y plus positive 2y. That is 0. You understand? Minus 5 plus 9. That is what? 4. You understand? So I'm going to have this equals to 4. To get the value of x, divide both sides by what? By 4. So I'm going to add this over 4 and this over 4. So the value of x is equals to 1. Now, we've gotten the value of x. How can we get the value of y? To get the value of y, all you have to do is that just substitute the value of x into any of the equations. So let us make use of equation 1. Let us make use of equation 1. Now, equation 1 is 3x minus 2y. 3x minus 2y equals to minus 5. Now, when x is 1, I'm going to have 3 minus 2y equals to minus 5. Minus 2y equals to minus 5 minus 3. Minus 2y equals to minus 8. Y equals to minus 8 over minus 2. Y equals to 4. Okay, now the value of x and y are 1 and 4 respectively. Now, to get the value of x minus y over x plus y, x is 1, abi 1 minus y, which is 4, 1 minus 4, all over 1 plus 4, 1 plus 4. Though I'm going to have minus 3 all over 5. Okay? Let us check the correct option. Option A, we have 5 over 3. Option B, we have 3 over 5. Option C, we have negative 3 all over 5. And option D, we have minus 5 all over 3. The right option is option C, which is minus 3 all over 5. Okay? So let us proceed to the next question. The next question we have, a variable W varies partly as M and partly inversely as P. Which of the following correctly represents the relationship with K1, K2 constants? Now, please pay attention. This question is coming from variation, and if you remember in variation, okay, let us interpret the question first. A variable W varies partly as M, and that same variable, listen to the question. A variable W varies partly as M, and that same variable varies partly inversely as P. Inverse means the reciprocal, okay? So I'm going to have 1 over P. The same variable varies with respect to difference quantity. You understand? W being a variable varies partly as M, and that same W varies partly as the inverse of P. Are you there? Now, in variation, we have something called constants. Anytime we want to change the variation sign to an equals to sign, we introduce a proportionality constant. The goals of the proportionality constant is to tell us the degree of variation that exists between the two variables that we are considering. Do you understand? Now, for the first equation, if I want to introduce a proportionality constant, this sign that you see here, this variation sign is going to change to an equals to sign. So I'm going to have W equals to K1M. Now, for the second equation, I'm going to have W equals to K2 over P. Because if I multiply K2 times 1 over P, it's always the same thing as K2 over P. Do you understand? Okay, now, that is the constant that we are given in the question. Now, let's say I have 20,000 naira. Let us be practical now. Let's say I have 20,000 naira. And a part of the 20,000 naira was given to one of my brother. I give a part. Maybe let's say I gave my brother 15,000 naira. Then I give my sister 5,000 naira. You know that a part of my money, a part of the whole 20,000 naira, have been given to my brother, which is 50,000. I gave him 50,000 naira. Then I gave my sister 5,000 naira. Now listen. If I want to write an expression for my money, I'm going to have 20,000 naira equals to 15,000 naira plus 5,000 naira, right? Yes. Now, if I want to write a single expression for W, now, a part of W varies partly as M, a part of W also varies inversely partly inversely as P. Do you understand? So, if I want to write a single expression for W, what am I going to have? I'm going to have W equals to K1M plus K2 all over P, just like the explanation that I did here. Let's say I have 20,000 naira and I intend to share this 20,000 naira between my brothers and sister. Now, a part of the money will be given to my brother and a part of the money will be given to my sister, right? Now, let's say I gave my brother 50,000 naira and to my sister I gave 5,000 naira. If I want to write a single expression for the total of my money, what am I going to have? 20,000 naira equals to what? 15,000 naira plus 5,000 naira. That's the same thing. So a part of W varies as this, a part of W varies partly inversely as this. So if I want to write a single expression for W, I'm going to have this plus this. Do you understand? That is just a mathematical statement. So let us look at the right option. Option A, we have W equals to K1M all over K2P. Option B, W equals to K1 plus K2 multiplied by M over P. Option C, W equals to K1M plus K2 over P. Option D, we have W equals to K1 plus K2 multiplied by m plus p. Which one is the correct option? Option C is correct. Okay, option C is the correct option. Now let us proceed to the next question. A cylindrical metallic barrel of height 2.5 meter and radius 0.245 is closed at one end. Find, correct to 1 decimal places, the total surface area of the barrel, taking pi as 22/7. Now I want you to pay attention. I'm coming. Okay, I'm very sure you've written this. If you've not, please kindly. Okay. A cylindrical metallic barrel of height 2.5 meter. Okay. So the height that we are given is 2.5. The height is 2.5 meter, right? Yes. Now, and radius 0.245. The radius is equals to 0.245. Okay, let's put meter, right? The radius is in meter as well. Now, it's closed at one end. Please pay attention to that point. It is closed at one end. This implies, okay, well, let's go. Find, correct to 1 decimal places, the total surface area. The total surface area. Now, the total surface area is equals to area of the curved surface plus the area of the top. You understand? Now, we are told that the cylindrical metallic barrel is closed at one end. Is that not it? So, if I want to calculate the total surface area, please pay attention. Total surface area is equals to the area of the curved surface. Area of the curved surface plus the area of the top. Area of the top. Do you understand? Because we are told in the question that the metallic cylindrical metallic barrel is closed at one end. Do you understand? So to get the area, the curved surface area, that will be the sum of the area of the closed end. You understand? Or the top. Let me just put it. Area of the closed end. Oh, this thing. Okay, I just this formula is what we're going to use. Area of the closed end. We are told that it is closed at one end. I'm very sure you've seen a cylinder before, something like this. This is it. Now this cylinder, let's say it is closed as, or it is closed here. Let's say it is closed here. Well, they didn't indicate whether it is top or bottom. You understand? But let's assume that it is closed end. You understand? Now, the total surface area will be area of the curved surface plus area of the closed end. Now, the area of the curved surface is 2 pi r h. The reason why we are going to consider h is because in cylinder we have height. You understand? Now, plus the area of the closed end. The area of the closed end, because we assume that the cylinder is closed at this end, which is at the top, we can say that it is pi r squared. You know, area of a circle, the top of a cylinder is circle. You understand what I'm saying? An area of a circle is what? Pi r squared. Are you paying attention? So now this is the formula that you're going to use to calculate the total surface area. Now, if you want to calculate the total surface area, the pi that we are given in the question is 22/7. So I'm going to have 22/7 times 2 times 22/7 times r, which is 0.245, times height, which is 2.5, plus pi, which is 22/7, multiplied by r squared. R squared, that is 0.245. Okay? So 2 times 22/7 times 0.245 times 2.5. That will be 3.85. Okay, 3.85. plus, now 20 over, oh, there should be square here. 20 over 7 times 0.245 squared, that is 0.18865. Okay, so the final answer will be 4.3.85. I'm sorry, 4.03. Now to 1 decimal place, that is 4.0 to 1 decimal place. Okay, so the total surface area is 4.0 now, 4.0 meters squared. Don't forget, area is in meter squared. Now area is in unit squared, and because we are dealing with meter, so the area will be in meter squared. So let's look at the right option to that question. The right option is, we have option A, we have 2.1, option B 3.5, option C 4.0 meters squared, option D 9.4 meters squared. So option C is the correct option. Okay, so let us proceed to question number 15. For question 15, we are asked to make R the subject of the formula, subject of the relation in, okay, let me write it out. Make R the subject of the relation. Make R the subject of the relation in V. V is equals to pi L multiplied by R squared minus R squared. Okay, now we are asked to make R the subject of the formula. It is big R. Okay, you are asked to make R the subject of the formula, that capital letter R. Now to make R the subject of the formula, the first step is that you have to divide both sides by pi L. So I'm going to have this over pi L and this over pi L. Okay, so I'm going to have R squared minus R squared is equals to V over pi L. Now, if you want to take this negative R squared to the other side, we are going to have R squared is equals to V over pi L plus R squared, right? Yes. Now, having done that, don't forget that the goal is to make R the subject of the formula, but we are still having R squared. In an attempt to help me to eliminate the square at the top of R, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to have R is equals to the square root of V over pi L plus R squared. Okay, so let us look at the correct option. Option A, R is equals to square root of V over pi L plus R squared. Option B, R is equals to V over pi L, square root of V over pi L minus R squared. Option C, R is equals to square root of V minus pi L R squared. Option D, R is equals to the square root of V plus pi L R squared. The right option to that question is option A. Okay, option A is correct. Now, let us proceed to the next question. Okay, the next question we have, consider the following statement. M represents Ednan is respective. N represents Ednan is brilliant. Okay, now this question is coming from logic. Okay, please pay attention. Now, please pay attention. M represents Ednan is respective. Ednan is respective. Respective. Ednan is respective, and N is used to denote Ednan is brilliant. Ednan is brilliant. Now, which of the following statements is valid? You can see now. So we are given the following statement. Ednan is respective, which is represented as M, and Ednan is brilliant, which is represented as N. Then we are given the logical statement. You know, the given logical statement is that M points to N. You understand? That is, the meaning of this statement is that is, if Ednan is respective, then Ednan is brilliant. You see? You know that M represents respective. You understand? So the meaning of this statement is that if Ednan is respective, then Ednan is brilliant. Now, we are now asked to check which of the statements is correct. Let me write the first statement. The statement A is that they put a negation sign. Please, if you are fast with logic, you will understand this question. They put negation M points to negation N. Then we have B, N point to negation M, negation sign. Then we have option C, negation N points to negation, we have the negation sign M, and then we have option D, which is the last option. The reason why I wrote out this option, I'm writing out this option, is because I want to explain this concept very well, okay? Now, look at this. The meaning of this negation sign is that, see, the meaning of this negation sign that you see here is that negation M signifies that Ednon is not respective. That is, it doesn't have any respect. It's not respective. And negation N signifies that Ednon is not brilliant. Do you understand? Okay. So now, looking at these options, negation M means Ednon is not respective. Then negation N means Ednon is not brilliant. For option B, we have Ednon is brilliant and Ednon is not respective, because I told you the meaning of this negation sign, right? Okay. For option C, we have negation N. Negation N is what? Ednon is not brilliant and Ednon, that means Ednon is not respective. And then option D, we have Ednon is brilliant. Ednon is brilliant, Ednon is respective. Now, look at this. If M, that is, this is the logical statement now. It is this logical statement that you are going to use to answer the question, okay? I'm very sure you have heard of contrapositive statements before. Now, it is this logical statement that you are going to use to answer the question. Now, based on this, that is, if Ednon is respective, then Ednon is brilliant. Based on this logical statement, Ednon is respective, then Ednon is brilliant. Which of these options is contrapositive to this statement? Do you understand? Okay, let's look at option A. Ednon is not respective, Ednon is not brilliant. This cannot be the right answer. Option B, Ednon is brilliant, but Ednon is not respective. It doesn't give validity to what we have here, so it cannot be the right answer. Option C, Ednon is brilliant. Okay, Ednon is not brilliant. You can see this is the negation sign. Ednon is not brilliant and Ednon is not respective. Option C is the correct option. Why? Because if Ednon is brilliant because it is respective, if Ednon is respective and it is brilliant, that means that the negation sign contrapositive statement of this will be Ednon is not brilliant, and that is the reason why it's not brilliant is because it's not respective based on what we have here. You understand? Okay, that is the correct answer. Option C is correct answer. The contrapositive statement of M is this. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, now let's look at the next question. Question 17. Question 17. A number is added to both the numerator and the denominator of the fraction 1/8. If the result is 1/2, find the number. Okay, now a number is added to the numerator and the denominator of the fraction 1/8. If the result is 1/2, find the number. Now, I don't know the number. You don't know the number, right? So what you are going to do is that let the number be any letter, maybe y. You understand? So that means if we add y to the denominator of this and y to the numerator, to the numerator and the denominator of this, the result that it gives us is what? Is 1/2. 1/2. So all we have to do solve for is that we have to solve for the value of y. Do you understand? Listen to the explanation again. We are given a fraction 1/8. They now told us that the question says if we add a number to it, we are going to get 1/2. Now, we don't know the number, you understand? So I represent the number as y. So y plus the numerator and y plus the denominator will give me 1/2. To solve for the value of y, what are you going to do? You just have to cross multiply. Do you understand? So for this, I'm going to have 2 multiplied by 1 plus y, and 1 equals to 1 multiplied by 8 plus y. Do you understand? 2 plus 2y equals to 8 plus 8y. Okay? Oh, sorry. Sorry. 8 plus y. Now, for this, I'm going to have, just take the 2 plus 2y minus y equals to 8 minus 2, right? Yes. So y equals to 6. So the number that is added to both the numerator and the denominator of the fraction 1 over 8 is 6. Let us check. 1 plus 6 all over 8 plus 6, that is what? 7 over 14. 7 over 14 is what? 1 over 2. Do you understand? Okay, let us proceed to the next question. Gifty, Justina, and Frank shared 60 oranges in the ratio 5:3:7. Gifty, Justina, and Frank shared 40 oranges in the ratio 5:3:7. The total numbers of oranges that was shared between these three is what? Total oranges is 60. You understand? The ratio that they share the orange is what? That is 5:3:7 respectively. Now, how many oranges did Justina receive? How many oranges did Justina receive? Now, to get the numbers of oranges that Justina received. Now, don't forget that they gave us the ratio respectively. That means that the numbers of ratio that belongs to gift is what? Is 5, because gift come first. The numbers of ratio that the ratio that belongs to Justina is 3, and that of Frank is the last one, which is 7. You understand? Now, to solve this question, you first have to sum the ratio. The sum of the ratio is what? 5 plus 3 plus 7 equals to what? 15. Okay? Now, to get the numbers of oranges that Justina received, the ratio opposed to Justina is what? Is 3. So, we are going to have 3 all over the total numbers of the ratio multiplied by the total oranges. You understand? Now, for this, I'm going to have 3 over 15 is what? 1 over 5. 1 over 5 multiplied by 60. That will be what? 12. You understand? So, that means that out of the 60 oranges, Justina received 12 oranges. You understand? Okay? The right option to that question is 12. Option A is correct. Do you understand? Okay? Do you know the meaning of this ratio? Let me explain. This ratio means that if Gifty receives 5 orange, Justina will receive 3 and Frank will receive 7. Let's proceed to the next questions. Find the quadratic equation whose roots are 2 over 3 and negative 1. We are asked to find the quadratic equation whose roots are 2 over 3 and negative 1. So we are given these roots 2 over 3, 2 over 3, 2 over 3 and negative 1. Okay? We are asked to find the quadratic equation. Now you can construct the quadratic equation by reversing the case. You understand? I'm very sure you are well versed with factorization method of solving quadratic equation. You are going to use that method. Okay? Now, set a variable equals to this root. You understand? Let us use x. So I'm going to have let x equals to 2 over 3 and x equals to negative 1. Okay? You know that if you solve a quadratic equation, you have 2 roots. You understand? So now, having done that, you can see that we have fraction here. So you can cross multiply. I'm going to have 3x equals to 2 and x equals to negative 1. What I'm doing now is that I'm reversing the case. Okay? So here I can write this as 3x minus 2 equals to 0 and x plus 1 equals to 0. Okay? Now, by taking the product of 3x minus 2 and x plus 1, I'm going to get the quadratic equation that I'm asked to find. So for this, I'm going to have 3x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 1. Okay? 3x times x, what will be the answer? That is 3x squared, right? 3x times plus 1, that is what? Plus 3x. Then minus 2 times x, that is what? Minus 2x. Then minus 2 times plus 1, that is what? Negative 2. Now, we can still collect like terms because we have positive 3x and negative 2x. So for this, I'm going to have 3x squared plus x minus 2. Now, if you check the first option there, we have, for the first option, we have 3x squared plus x minus 2. Second option, we have, okay, put equals to 0, equals to 0, equals to 0. Okay? For the second option, we have 3x squared minus x minus 2 equals to 0. The third option, we have 3x squared plus x plus 2 equals to 0. And the last option, option D, we have 3x squared plus x minus 1 equals to 0. The right option to that question is option A. Do you understand? Okay, now let's proceed to question 20. The next question, we have a piece of rod of length 44 meter is cut to form a rectangle shape such that the ratio of the length to the breadth is 7:4. Find the breadth. A 8 meter, B 14 meter, C 16 meter, D 24 meter. Okay, let's go. The total length, now listen, listen to the question. A piece of rod of length 44 meter is cut to form a rectangle shape. So, the length of the rod is what? 44 meter. Now, the ratio of the length to the breadth as given in the question is what? 7:4, right? Yes. 7:4. That means that, listen, that means that if the length is 7, the breadth will be 4. Do you understand? I've already told you when I start this, in this question, I've already told you when I'm doing the solution for this question, I told you that means the meaning of the ratio is that if one is 7, the other is 4. The ratio means proportion of one quantity to another. You understand? So if the length is 7, the breadth is 4. Now listen. This length that you are given here is the total length. You understand? Listen. The length of the rod. The length of the rod. Oh, I don't want to put it in a circular shape. The length of the rod signifies the total length of the rod. Like, you know, it's not maybe the length of the rectangle or the length or the breadth of the rectangle. It signifies total length. How long the piece of the rod is. You understand? That is 44 meter. Now, this piece of this rod is cut. You understand? To form a rectangle whose ratio of the length to the breadth is 7:4 meter. We are asked to find the breadth. How do we calculate the breadth? That means that if this is total length of the rod that is used to form the rectangle, that means that the perimeter of the rectangle is equal to this. Do you understand? Listen to the explanation again, okay? Let's say I have a wool, and the total length of the wool is how long the length of the wool. Now I've not cut it to form any shape now. The length of the wool, so how long the wool is 100 meter. Now I now cut this wool to form a rectangle. You can see now, so the total length signifies the perimeter. You understand? Because it is that it is that length that I use to that I cut and form a shape, and the shape that was formed in this question is a rectangle. So that means that the total length of that wool is the perimeter of the rectangle that was formed. Do you understand? Okay. The reason why I emphasize on that is because we're going to use the perimeter of a rectangle formula. Are you getting it? So for this now, I'm going to have, since the total length of the piece of rod is this, so that means that the perimeter of the piece of rod is 2 multiplied by L plus B equals to 44. Now you can divide both sides by 2, right? So I'm going to have the sum of the length and breadth is what? 22. That is, if you divide both sides by 2, this divided by 2, we're going to have L plus B, and 44 divided by 2, you're going to have this. Now, don't forget that in the question, we've been given that the ratio of the length to breadth. Listen carefully. The ratio of the length to breadth is 7/4. Length over breadth, ratio means division. Length over breadth is 7/4. Now, the next step is that we are going to make the length the subject of the formula. So I'm going to have, if you cross multiply, you're going to have 4L is equals to 7B, right? So divide both sides by 4, this over 4 and this over 4. Length is equals to this over 4, right? Yes. Now, having made length the subject of the formula, you substitute the value of length into this equation. Call this equation 1, okay? So for this, I'm going to have L plus B equals to 22. Now, when the length is 7b over 4, I'm going to have 7b all over 4 plus b equals to 22, right? Now, you can multiply both sides by the LCM. So, I'm going to have 7b plus 4b equals to 88. Do you know what I did? Okay, if you take the LCM, let's do it step by step. If you take the LCM is 4, right? So, if the LCM is 4, I'm going to have 4 divided by 4 is what? 1. 1 times 7b, I'm going to have 7b. 4 divided by 1 is what? 4. 4 times b is what? Plus 4b, right? Equals to 22. So if you cross multiply, you're going to have 7b plus 4b multiplied by 1. That is, I'm going to have 7b plus 4b. 4 times 22, that is what? 88. That's why I got 88 here. Do you understand? Okay, 7b plus 4b, what will be the answer? That is 11b. 11b equals to 88. Now divide both sides by 11 to get the value of b. b equals to 8. So now, because the length is a meter, that means that 8 meter, the value of b is 8 meter. Let us look at the correct option. Option A is 8 meter, option B 14 meter, option C 16 meter, option D we have 24 meter. The right option to that question is 8 meter. That is option B and option A. Do you understand? Okay. Consider the diagram on the board. In the diagram, line MN, line KL, line ML, and line KL intersect as X. Listen, this line ML, please pay attention. Line MN, this line, and line KL, this line. Also, we have line ML, this line, and this line KL, this line. You understand? Line KN. Both of them intersect at X. This place that you see here is called X. Now, you can see that line MN is what? 12 centimeter and line KN is 9 centimeter. Now, in this diagram, we have two triangles. If the area of the triangle MXN, that is this triangle that you see here, the area is 16 centimeter square. The area of triangle MXN is 16 centimeter squared. Okay, we are asked to calculate the area of triangle LXK. Calculate the area of triangle LXK. Okay, now to get the area of triangle LXK, you can proceed like this. You see that this triangle and this triangle, they are similar triangle. You understand? And in a similar triangle, the ratio of the area of the similar triangle is equal to the square of the ratio of their corresponding sides. You understand? Okay? The ratio, please pay attention. The ratio of the area of a similar triangle is equal to the ratio of the square of their similar of their corresponding side. This side that you see here, this side MN and this side KL, they are corresponding side. So now I don't know the ratio. I don't know the area of triangle LXK. So I'm going to represent it as X. You understand? So, and according to what I told you earlier, the ratio of the area of a similar triangle is equal to the ratio of the square of the corresponding side. So now let us take the ratio of the area of both triangles. So I'm going to have 16 centimeter squared all over X is equal to, now the area of this triangle is this. The size of this triangle that corresponds to the side of this second triangle is what? Is this side. So I'm going to have 12 all over, now 12 all over 9. You understand? So it is this one that I'm going to square. Okay? So now we can solve for the value of X to get the area. So let's proceed. For this, I'm going to have 16 centimeter squared all over X is equal to 144 all over 81. Okay? The next step is to cross multiply. So I'm going to have, please just pay attention, okay? If you cross multiply, you are going to have X is equal to 16 centimeter squared multiplied by 81. This all over 144. Are you wondering how I got this? Just pay attention. See, if you take the cross product of these fractions, you are going to discover that this X will multiply this. You understand? Okay? So I'm going to have 144 times x equals to 16 centimeters squared times 81. Then I divide both sides by 144 to get the value of x. Okay. Now, 16 times 81, you understand? Divided by 144. That is 9, okay? So for this, the value of x is equals to 9. Now, because area is in units squared, so, and the unit that we are given is in centimeter, so the value will be x centimeter squared. Now, the area of this triangle LXK is 9 centimeters squared. Now let us check the options that is correct. Option A, we have 8 centimeters squared. That is incorrect. Option B, we have 9 centimeters squared. That's not correct as well. Then option C, we have 10 centimeters squared. That's incorrect as well. But option B, we have 9 centimeters squared. Option B is correct. Option B is correct. Then option D, which is 12 centimeters squared, is not correct. Okay. So let us proceed to the next question. Okay. A ladder 15 meter long leans against vertical pole, making an acute angle of 72 degrees with the horizontal. Calculate correct to 1 decimal place the distance between the foot of the ladder and the pole. Now, this question is angle of elevation and depression. Okay, and particularly it is angle of elevation. So it's just, let us first interpret the question that we are given. The length of the ladder is what? 15 meter, right? Okay. Then the angles which the ladder makes with the horizontal ground is what? 72 degrees. Let's say this is the ladder. Okay. We have a ladder here. You understand? Now, this ladder that you see here leans against a vertical pole. Let us call this, let me draw a pole here. You understand? Let's draw a pole here. Okay. This ladder that you see here, this is the base of the ladder. This ladder leans against a vertical pole, and the ladder is what? 15 meter, 15 meter. You understand? 15 meter long. Now, the question says making an angle of 72 degrees with the horizontal. The horizontal is the ground, you understand? So this ladder makes an angle of 72 degrees with the horizontal. Are you there? Now we have to correct and calculate the distance between the foot of the ladder and the pole. The distance between the foot of the ladder. This is the foot of the ladder. This is the foot of the ladder, and this is the pole. You understand? What we want to calculate is the distance between this point and this point. You understand? So I can redraw the diagram like this. Let's call this the ladder. Let us call this the pole. Let us call this the pole. You understand? So I'm going to have 72 degrees here. Then I'm going to have 15 meter here. So what I'm going to calculate is that I want to calculate the distance between here and here. Now, what is the name of this triangle that you see here? It's a right angle triangle, and you understand? And the relationship that exists between all the sides and the angles in this right angle triangle can be explained using SOHCAHTOA. You understand? So now, what mnemonic device combine these sides and these sides? You know, listen to me. The side which this angle that we are considering face is known as the opposite. You understand? I don't want to delve into trigonometric question, but notwithstanding, because this came out, I'm going to explain. Now, you see, this is the angle that we are considering, right? Now, the side that this angle face is known as the opposite. You understand? Now, the longest side is known as the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse, and the sides that has the angle that we are considering and the angle 90 degree is known as the adjacent. You understand? Now, what we want to find is the adjacent. Do you understand? So, because the adjacent side is the side that we are looking for, we are asked to calculate the distance between the foot of the ladder and the pole. So, it is the adjacent side that we are looking for. Now, to get the adjacent, what can we use? According to, there is a mnemonic device in trigonometry. So, the mnemonic device is SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Okay? This one will give us opposite sine, opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, and 2 are opposite over adjacent. You understand? Okay, so cos theta and tan theta, you understand? These are just basic trigonometry. Now, what can we combine? Which are we going to use among this mnemonic device? Which are we going to use to find the adjacent? To know that, you have to know, just look for the trig function that has hypotenuse and adjacent. Hypotenuse and adjacent. Well, that is car. We are going to use cos theta because that one has adjacent and hypotenuse. You understand? So I'm going to have cos theta is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse, right? Now, cos theta, the theta is the angle. So I'm going to have cos 72 degree is equals to the adjacent. I don't know it. Let us represent as x. X over hypotenuse, which is 15 meter. Okay. Now, to get the value of x, I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to have x is equals to 15 meter multiplied by cos 72 degree. Okay. What is cos 72 degree? Cos 72 degree is equals to 0.3090. 15 meter times 0.3090. Okay. So now 15 multiplied by 0.3090. What's the answer? 4.635. 4.635 meter. Now, because the question says we should correct our answer to 1 decimal place, that will be x is equals to 4.6 meter. Now, the distance between the foot, please pay attention. The distance between the foot of the ladder and the pole is 4.6 meter to 1 decimal place. You understand? So, having gotten the distance, let us look at the correct option. Option A is 15.8 meter. Option B 14.3 meter. Option C 4.9 meter. Option D 4.6 meter. The correct option is option D, which is 4.6 meter. Do you understand? Okay. Let us proceed to the next question. Okay, let's move to the next question. In the diagram, we have the diagram on the board. O is the center of the circle. This is point O. If OA, line OA, this is the line. This line that you see here, from this point to this point. Line OA is equals to 25 centimeter, as you can see. And line AB, this line that you see here, is equals to 40 centimeter. Find line OH. This is the line that we are looking for. Line OH. Okay, H is here. Line OH. This line that you see here, that is what we are looking for. Okay. So how do we determine the value of this line? Please, I want you to pay attention. I'm going to bring out this triangle OAB. I'm going to bring it out. Okay. So I'm going to have something like this. And don't forget that this line OH bisects this triangle into 2 parts. So that means that, and we know that the total of this line is what? 40 centimeter. And this side is what? 25 centimeter. Now, if from this point to this point is 40 centimeter, the half of it is what? 20 centimeter and 20 centimeter. Do you understand? Okay, this will be A, this will be O, and this will be H. Now, how can we find the value of OH? Let me bring out another triangle, AOH. Another triangle, AOH. This will be A, this will be O, and this will be H. This will be 20 centimeter, and this will be 25 centimeter. Now, with respect to what we have on the board now, what are we going to use? Which formula are we going to use to calculate the value of this line? We're going to use Pythagoras theorem because here is a right angle triangle. So we can determine the side OH by Pythagoras theorem. So line OH squared is equals to the square of the other two sides. 25 squared plus 20 squared. Now pay attention, see. In using Pythagoras theorem to solve this question, this is the opposite side. I'm very sure you are aware. And the longest side, the square of the longest side is equals to the square of the other side. Is equals to the square of the other two sides. Like hypotenuse squared is equals to the opposite squared plus the adjacent squared, right? Now, the hypotenuse is 25 squared, so this should be negative, sorry. Now, the hypotenuse is 25 squared, so I'm going to have 25 squared is is equals to opposite squared. The opposite is this. This side I'm looking for is the opposite. So that is OH squared plus the adjacent squared. The adjacent is this, which is 20 centimeter, 20 squared. So in that case, I'm going to have line OH squared is equals to 25 squared. 25 squared is 625 plus 20 squared, which is 400. Okay, so line OH squared is equals to 625. Okay, sorry, this will be negative. Sorry. You see, what you have here, what I have here, I just explained everything here. You understand? Okay, I explained what I have here. Like, you know, this line OH squared, you might be wondering that how do I got this? So I take time to explain. Okay, I just break it down. Do you understand? It's nothing. Now, from this 625 minus 400, we're going to have 225. So line OH is equals to the square root of 225, and the square root of 225 is that is 15. Okay, so that is 15 centimeter. Okay, that is 15 centimeter. So the line OH, the value of line OH, this line is 15 centimeter. Now let us check the right option. Option A, we have 15 centimeter. Option B, we have 20 centimeter. Option C, we have 25 centimeter. And option D, we have 30 centimeter. The right option to that question is option A, which is 15 centimeter. Do you understand? Okay, so now let us proceed to the next question. Given that P is 25 centimeter on a bearing of 330 degree from Q, how far south of P is Q? That's the question. Just pay attention, okay? Let me hear. Okay. Given that P is 25 meter on a bearing of 330 degree. Now, you know bearing. I'm very sure you are familiar with bearing. Well, if you are not, you can check. There are some class that we have done on this topic, bearing. So if you want to learn more on bearing, you can check the class. Okay, so you can check the playlist on this channel. Now, let us interpret the question into diagram. Okay, we are given that P is 25 meter on a bearing of 330 degree from Q. So let us put point Q here. So 330 degree will fall along this side. Okay, so this line is 25 meter. You understand? And point P will be here. This will be point P. Well, if you want to learn more on bearing and distance, you can kindly check the playlist on this channel. Okay, there are many classes and questions that I've already solved, so make sure you check the playlist on this channel. Now, this is the interpretation of the first statement. Given that P is 25 meter on a bearing of 330 degree from Q. Now, the meaning of that statement is that the bearing of P from Q is 330 degree. And the distance between P and Q is 25 meter. Do you understand? Okay, so this will be, let me label it, 330 degree. Okay, now the question is to determine how far the south of P is Q. How far the south of P is Q. This is north, this is south, this is west, and this is east. Now the south of P is what? This is the south of P. This point that you see here, I just want to sketch. I want to sketch it out. Okay, this is the south of P. You can see. So this is what we are asked to calculate. Now, I can redraw this diagram as this. Okay? So, this is P and this is Q. Now, this is 25 meter, right? Yes. And now, I need this angle. The reason why I need this angle is because before I can determine this side, this is the side that I'm asked to determine. You understand? And because before I can find this side, I need to find the angle that is here. Do you understand? Okay. Now, if I want to get the angle that is here, what am I going to do? Now, I know that from this point to this point is 330. I am very sure you are aware. Now, and from our basic knowledge of bearing, we know that from this point to this point here is 270. 270. I'm very sure you know. Now, if I want to get this angle, let us represent this angle as angle x. This angle x will be equals to 330 degree minus 270 degree. So that will be 60 degree. Okay? So this angle that is here is 60 degree. This angle that is here is 60 degree. Now, with respect to what we've learned in trigonometry, if I want to calculate this side that you see here is known as the hypotenuse, okay? This side that you see here is known as the opposite, and this one is the adjacent. Do you understand? Okay? Now, if I want to calculate the length of this side, I've been given the hypotenuse. I need to find the opposite. What am I going to use? Am I going to use the sine of the angle? Am I going to use the cos of the angle? Or am I going to use the tan of the angle? Well, because hypotenuse have been given and I need to calculate the opposite, I'm going to use the sine of the angle. Now I'm going to have sine theta is equals to what? Opposite over hypotenuse, right? Yes. Sine theta theta is 60 degrees. Sine 60 degrees is equals to opposite. I don't know the value of opposite. Let's just put it. Opposite over hypotenuse, which is 25 meter. So if I take the cross product of this, I'm going to have opposite is equals to 25 meter sine 60 degree. Okay, 25 meter multiplied by sine 60 degrees 0.8665. Okay, you can check. Yes, that's it. 3/2. Sine 60 degree is 0.8665. So I mean, sorry, 0.8660. Now, if you take the product of 0.8660 and 25, you are going to have 21.65. You're going to have 21.65. So the opposite, which is the side that we're looking for, equals to 21.65 meter. Now, in the question, we are given option A 25.2 meter, option B 21.7 meter, option C 19.8 meter, option D 18.5 meter. The right option to that question is option B. You understand? Because you can approximate this to one decimal place, which is 21.7 meter. Do you understand? Okay, the right option to that question is option B. Now let us proceed to question 25. For question 25, now for question 25, a car valued at 600,000 naira, $600,000 depreciates by 10% each year. What will be the value of the car at the end of 2 years? Okay, now the value of the car is valued at this price, $600,000. $600,000. Now the depreciation rate, the car depreciates at 10%. 10% per year. Now we are asked to calculate the value of the car after 2 years. The value of the car after 2 years. Now let us start with the first year. The first year, we first get the depreciation value. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to have 10%, which is 10 over 100. 10 over 100 multiplied by $600. $600. 10 over 100 multiplied by $600. This, then this. So we're going to have $60,000. $60,000. So the value for the first year now, the value is reduced to, we're going to subtract $600,000 minus $60,000. Are you getting it? The value, listen, what I calculate here is the depreciation value. You understand? The amount that the price, the amount that the car depreciated. You understand? This one that you see here is the depreciation value. You understand what I'm saying? Because it depreciates by 10% every year. So now that means that if it depreciates by 10% every year, 10% of the actual value in the first year now, 10% of the actual value will be 60,000 naira. You understand? That is the depreciation value. Now, if you now take the difference between the actual value and the depreciation value, that will be the value, and that is the value of the car in the first year, at the end of the first year. Do you understand? Okay, $600,000 minus $60,000, that will be $540. Okay, $540. Okay, this is the value of the car at the end of the first year. Now let us proceed to the second year. Now for the second year, we are still going to calculate the depreciation value. I'm going to have 10% of 540,000. Okay, so this will cancel this, this will cancel this. So we are left with what? Oh, this is dollar, sorry. We are left with 554,000. Okay, $54,000. Now the value of the car at the end, please pay attention. The value of the car at the end of the second year will be the value, which is $540,000 minus $54,000. Okay, now if you point your calculator, $540,000 minus $540,000 minus $54,000, that is $486,000. Do you understand? So the value here will be $486,000. That is the value at the end of the second year. Okay, now let us check the option that is right. Let's check the option that is right. The first option there that we have is 486. Okay, option A, we have $120,000, option B $480,000, option C $486,000, and option D $540,000. Option C is correct. Okay, let's proceed to the next question. The length and breadth of a cuboid is 15 centimeter and 8 centimeter respectively. If the volume of the cuboid is 1,560 centimeter cube, calculate the total surface area of the cuboid. Now, you are given that the length and the breadth of the cuboid, the length is equals to 15 centimeter and the breadth is equals to 8 centimeter. The area of the cuboid is what? 1,560 centimeter squared. Now, the total surface area of a cuboid is given by this formula. The total surface area of the cuboid, okay, the volume of the cuboid is 1,560 centimeter cube. Now, please pay attention. The total surface area of a cuboid is given by this formula. 2 multiplied by length times breadth plus length times height plus breadth times height. This is the formula for calculating the total surface area of a cuboid. Do you understand? Okay, now in this formula, we still need to find the value of the height. Okay, so we cannot get the total surface area without knowing the height. Now, we've been given that the volume of the cuboid is what? 1,560 centimeter cube. So we can get the height from the volume, because the volume of the cuboid, volume is equals to length times breadth times height. You understand? And we've been given that the volume is what? 1,560 centimeter cube. So 1,560 centimeter cube is equals to length, which is 15, times breadth, which is 8, multiplied by height. So the height will be equals to 1,560 divided by 15 times 8. Okay, so the height will be equals to, now 15 multiplied by 8, take the product, that is 120. Okay, 1560, okay, 1560 divided by 120, that is 13. So for this, I'm going to have 1560 over 120, the height is equals to 13 meters. Okay, now having gotten the height, we can proceed to calculate the total surface area. Okay, so let's proceed. Here I'm going to have the total surface area is equals to 2 multiplied by length times breadth, 15 times 8, length times breadth, 15 times 8 plus length times height. The length is still 15 times 13 plus, then we have what's the next one? Okay, breadth times height. Breadth, the breadth is 8, so I'm going to have 13. Okay, 8 times 13 is still the same. 8 times 13. Okay, so with respect to this, you can easily determine the total surface area. Now let's go. For this, we are going to have 2 multiplied by 15 times 8 is what? 120. So I'm going to have 120 plus 15 times 13. That is 195. So I'm going to have 195 here plus 8 times 13. That is 104. 104. Okay. Now, please pay attention. 2 multiplied by 120 plus 195 plus 104. That is 419. I'm going to have 419 here. Okay. 2 times 419. That is 838. 838 centimeter squared. Okay. So that is the area and the total surface area of the cube. Let's look at the right options there. We have option A. Option A is 976 centimeters squared. Option B, 838 centimeters squared. Option C, we have 792 centimeters squared. And option D, 746 centimeters squared. The right option is option B. Okay. Now let us proceed to the next question. The number 1621 was subtracted from 6244 in base x. If the result was 4323, find the value of x. Okay, please pay attention. The number 1621 was subtracted from 6244 in base x. That means I'm going to have 6000. Please pay attention. 6244 base x minus 1621 base x is equals to 4323 base x. That is the mathematical expression of that statement. If you look at that statement, if I say that subtract 5 from 10, that means I'm asking you that you should do 10 minus 5, right? Yes. So we are told that the number 1621 is subtracted from the number 6244 in base x. Now, if we are taking the difference in base x, the result will also be in base x. Do you understand? Okay, now we are asked to find the value of x. How do we find the value of x? Well, I'm very sure you are well versed with binary number. Here we're going to have, let us try to change this binary number to base 10. You understand? So for this, I'm going to have 6 times x raised to the power of 0, 1, 2, 3 raised to the power of 3 plus 2 times x raised to the power of 2 plus 4 times x raised to the power of 1 plus 4 times x raised to the power of 0 minus, open the bracket. Now this will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Here I'm going to have 1 times x raised to the power of 3 plus 6 times x raised to the power of 2 plus 2 times x raised to the power of 1 plus 1 times x raised to the power of 0. Okay, close the bracket, equals to 4 times x raised to the power of, this will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. 4 times x raised to the power of 3 plus 3 times x raised to the power of 2 plus 2 times x raised to the power of 1 plus 3 times x raised to the power of 0. You can see now. So now we have this. Let us simplify it. Okay, let us simplify what we have on the board so that we can get the value of x. here I'm going to have 6 times x to the power of 3, that is 6x cubed, okay, plus 2x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals to, okay, minus, put the negative sign. We have 1 times x to the power of 3, that is minus x to the power of 3 plus 6x to the power of 2 plus 2x plus 1 equals to, I'm very sure you understand what I'm doing. If you didn't understand, listen to the explanation again, okay? If you take the, multiply the base by the number that you have, you're going to have the numbers in base 10, you understand? That is the basic laws of binary number. If you want to convert any number from any base to base 10, you just have to multiply that number by the base, okay? And that's what I did here. So I am trying to convert this to base 10. And in an attempt to do that, I'm going to be able to solve, I will be able to solve for the value of x. Do you understand? So that's what I'm doing. Now, for the right hand side of the equation, we have 4x to the power of 3. Okay. 4x to the power of 3, this to the power of 3 plus 3x to the power of 2 plus 2x plus 3. Okay. Now, for this, I'm going to have 6x to the power of 3 plus 2x to the power of 2 plus 4x plus 4 minus x to the power of 3 minus 6x to the power of 2 minus 2x minus 1 is equals to 4x to the power of 3. Are you there? Plus 3x to the power of 2 plus 2x plus 3. Okay. Now, let us collect like terms. Collecting like terms simply means adding the terms that are similar to each other. Now, we have 6x to the power of 3 here, and we have negative x to the power of 3. Are you there? I'm going to have 5x to the power of 3, right? Because 6x to the power of 3 minus x to the power of 3, that will be what? 5x to the power of 3, okay? Now, after having dealt with the to the highest power in the left hand side, let us proceed to the second highest power, which is the 2x to the power of 2. We have 2x to the power of 2 here, positive 2x to the power of 2, and we have negative 2x to the power of 2. That means that this can eliminate this. You understand? I mean, I'm going to have minus 4x to the power of 2. Okay. Now, for the next one, we have 4x here plus 4x, and we have minus 2x. Plus 4x minus 2x. What will be the answer? That will be plus 2x. And then we have plus 4 minus 1. Plus 4 minus 1 will be what? Plus 3, right? Yes. Equals to, you see, I've not done anything, okay? All I'm doing is that I'm trying to collect like terms. And by collecting like terms, I mean adding the terms that are similar to each other. Now, based on their power, you will discover that we have 6x to the power of 3 here, and we have negative x to the power of 3. So 6x to the power of 3 minus x, negative minus x to the power of 3, that is 5x to the power of 3, you can see. Now, having done that, we have another highest power, which is 2x to the power of 2. 2x to the power of 2 minus 6x to the power of 2. For this, I have minus 4x to the power of 2. Okay, and so on. So, now, for the right hand side, we are going to have 4x to the power of 3 plus 3x to the power of 2 plus 2x plus 3. Okay? Okay, kindly pay attention, okay? The next step is that I'm going to take all the values of x that I have here. Okay, everything here, I'm going to move it to the left hand side of the equation. So the equation becomes 5x to the power of 3 minus 4x to the power of 3. Is that not it? Yes. Then minus 4x to the power of 2 minus 3x to the power of 2. Okay. Then plus 2x minus 2x plus 3 minus 3 equals to 0. Do you understand? Now, 5x to the power of 3 minus 4x to the power of 3, that is x to the power of 3, okay? If you didn't understand, listen to the explanation again. See, what I did here was that I moved all this to the other side, to the left-hand side of the equation, and if this positive 4x to the power of 3 is coming, it's going to change to negative, okay? So, and this positive 3x to the power of 2 is going to change to negative 3x to the power of 2, and positive 2x is going to change to negative 2x, and plus 3 is going to change to minus 3. Okay, so now 5x to the power of 3 minus 4x to the power of 3, that is what? 1x to the power of 3, and 1x to the power of 3 is also the same thing as x to the power of 3. Okay, now minus 4x to the power of 2 minus 3x to the power of 2, that will be minus 7x to the power of 2. Okay, now we have positive 2x minus 2x, that is 0, plus 3 minus 3, that is 0. So this will be equivalent to 0. Do you understand? Okay, having done that, now look at this equation that we have here. This is a polynomial equation of the third degree. But how do we solve this equation? How do we solve for the value of x in this equation? It is simple. All you have to do here is that just factorize, okay? Factorize x to the power of 2 in the left hand side of the equation. So I'm going to have x to the power of 2 multiplied by x minus 7. This will be equals to 0, okay? Now, in quadratic equation, in a polynomial equation, the highest power of the unknown will determine the values of the root of the equation. You understand? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So now the equation is of the third power, so we are expecting 3 values of x. Are you there? Now to get the first value of x, let us first set this one in the bracket, x minus 7. Let us set it equals to 0. So I'm going to have x minus 7 here equals to 0. What will be the value of x? X will be equals to what? 7. That is the first value of x. Are you getting it? So now for the second value of x, I'm going to set x squared equals to 0. Now x squared equals to 0. Now x will be equals to what? The square root of 0. It is invalid. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? It is invalid. Well, most time people said some said the square root of 0 is 0. Well, but most time it is invalid. Okay, so the value of x that we're going to pick is 7. The value of x in this binary is, the value of x is 7. So let us check the correct option to that question. I'm coming. We have option A, we have 7. Option B, we have 8. Option C, 9. And option D, we have 10. The correct option to that question is option A, which is 7. Okay, so that is the solution to that question. Now let us move to the next question. Factorize completely 27x squared minus 48y squared. We are asked to factorize completely. I'm coming. We are asked to factorize completely 27x squared minus 48y squared. Okay, now how do we factorize this completely? Well, please kindly pay attention. This can be written as, we can rewrite both equations as 3 multiplied by 9x squared minus 16 minus 16y squared. Okay, I'm very sure you know what I'm doing. 9 times 3 will give us 27, you know, and 16 times 3 will give us 48. Do you understand? Okay, now from this point I want to do something now. From this point, have you heard of difference of two squared before? If you have a squared minus b squared, this can be written as a plus b multiplied by a minus b. Do you understand? Now I'm going to use the difference of two squared for the expression that I have inside the bracket. Do you understand? Okay, I can rewrite 9x squared. Please pay attention. 9x squared minus 16y squared can be written as what? 3x raised to the power of 2 minus 4y raised to the power of 2. Do you know what I did? If you open the bracket, you're going to have 3x times 3x, right? 3x times 3x will give us 9x squared. Likewise, the same for 4y squared. 4y squared means 4y times 4y, which will give us what? 16y squared. So now, with respect to what we have here, 3x squared minus 4y squared can be written as 3x plus 4y multiplied by 3x minus 4y. Do you understand? Okay. That means the expression 27x squared minus 48y squared is factorized as 3 multiplied by, please pay attention, 3x plus 4y multiplied by 3x minus 4y. Do you understand? Do you know what I did? I just rewrite this in this form, and then I use the difference of 2 squared. Then I bring everything that I have here, I substitute it inside the bracket. So this is the factorial form of this. If you factorize this completely, this is what we're going to have. Okay, let us check the correct option. Option A is 3 multiplied by 3x plus 4y, 3x plus 4y. That is incorrect. Option B is 3 multiplied by 3x plus 4y, 3x minus 4y. That is correct answer. Option C is incorrect as well. Option D is not correct. So option B is the correct option. Now let us proceed to the next question. For what values of x is x minus 3 all over 4 plus x plus 1 all over 8 is greater than or equals to 2? Okay, for what values of x? For what values of x is x minus 3 all over 4 plus x plus 1 all over 8 greater than or equals to 2? All you have to do is that just solve the inequality, okay? Now, if you missed our class on inequality, you want to learn more on inequality, there is a particular playlist. You can check the playlist on this channel. There are many past exam questions that I've already done regarding this topic, okay? So watch those videos to learn more on inequality. Now, let us solve this question. For what value of x is x minus 3 all over 4 plus x plus 1 all over 8 greater than or equals to 2? Now, let us take the LCM of the left hand side of the equation. We're going to have 8, right? Yes. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 times x minus 3, that is what? 2x minus 6, right? Yes. Plus 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times x plus 1, that is what? X plus 1. So I'm going to have x plus 1 here, greater than or equals to 2. Now, you can take the cross product, okay? I'm going to have 2x minus 6 plus x plus 1 greater than or equals to 8 times 2 is 16, okay? Now, 2x plus x is 3x. Minus 6 plus 1 is what? Minus 5, okay? Minus 5 is greater than or equals to 16. From this point, take this negative 5 to the other side. You're going to have 3x is greater than or equals to 16 plus 5, right? Yes. 16 plus 5 is 21. So I'm going to have greater than or equals to 21. Divide both sides by 3, this over 3 and this over 3. So x is greater than or equals to 7, okay? Now, let us check the right option. We have option A, x is greater than or equals to 5, incorrect. Option B, x is greater than or equals to 6, that's not correct as well. Option C, x is greater than or equals to 7, that's the correct option. And option D, x is greater than or equals to 8, that is also not correct. The correct option to that question is option C, okay? X is greater than or equals to 7. Now, let us proceed to the next question. In the diagram on the board, angle SQR is 52 degree. As you can see, SQR, this angle is 52 degree, and angle PRT, angle PRT is 16 degree. So this angle that you see here, angle PRT is 16 degree. Okay. Then find the value of angle marked I. You understand? We have to find the value of this angle. Now, please pay attention. This topic is coming. This question is coming from a topic known as circle geometry. You understand? Okay. Now, in circle geometry, there is something called exterior angle. Are you paying attention? The exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral. Now, if I told you that this y is equals to this angle that is here, it is a properties in circle geometry. You understand that the exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so in an attempt to help me to solve for the value of y, I must know the angle that is here. Do you understand? And to get the value of the angle that is here, I can use the sum of angles in a triangle for the triangle PQ and QRS from triangle QRS. Now, 52 degree plus 16 degree, this angle that you see here, this y is equals to this y, this angle. So if this place is y, this angle is also y degree. You understand? So 52 degree plus 16 degree plus y degree is equals to 180. Why? Sum of angles in a triangle. Okay, now 52 degree plus 16 degree, that is what? 68 degree. 68 degree plus y degree equals to what? 180 degree. Okay, now y is equals to 180 degree minus 68 degree. Okay, now 180 degree minus 68 degree, what's the answer? That is 112 degrees. So y is equals to 112 degrees. So the value of y in this diagram is 112. Now let us look at the correct option for the question. Option A, we have 64 degree, option B 68 degree, option C 112 degree, and option D we have 128. Option C is correct. Okay, so let's proceed to the next question. In this diagram, JKL is a tangent to the circle. You can see that this line JKL touches the circle at this point, so it's a tangent to the circle. Now the question reads forward. Okay. In the diagram, JKL is a tangent to the circle GHIK. GHIK. Okay. At K, angle LKG is 38 degree, and angle GIH angle GIH is 87 degree. You can see this is 87 degree. Angle GIH is 87 degree. Now calculate the value of the angle marked X. We have A 93 degree, B 53 degree, C 42 degree, D 23 degree. Well, to calculate the angle marked X, we are still going to use the property that we use in this place, exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral. You see, this angle that you see here is equals to this angle. You understand? So this one will be 87 degree as well. Do you understand? So if I want to get the value of X, I can now bring out this triangle like this. I can bring out this triangle like this. This is 87 degree, and this is 38 degree, and this is X. So I can use the properties of the sum of angles in a triangle to get the value of X by summing all the angles together. So X plus 87 degree plus 38 degree equals to 180 degree. Okay, now I want to do something now. I'm very sure you are well versed with circle geometry. So if you want to get this, we are going to have 87 degree plus 38 degree, that is 125 degree. Okay, so for this I'm going to have X plus 125 degree equals to 180 degree. So X equals to 180 degree minus 25 degree. Okay, that is 55. Okay, X is equals to 55 degree. So let us look at the correct option to that question. Let us look at the correct option. Option A, we have, okay, option A we have 93 degree, option B we have 55 degrees. So option B is the correct option. Do you understand? The correct option to that question is option B. Now listen to me. When the previous question that we saw on circle geometry is this, you can see that this angle is the same as this angle, the exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral. Likewise, this angle also is the same as this angle. That makes it 87 degree. Then solve for the value of X using the properties of a triangle. Sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degree. Okay, so that is the correct answer. Now, question 32. A cone and a cylinder are of equal volume. The base radius of the cone is twice the radius of the cylinder. What is the ratio of the height of the cylinder to that of the cone? A 5:4, B 4:3, C 4:2, D 3:4. Okay, now let's calculate. We are given that the cone and the cylinder, they have the same volume. Okay, now the volume of a cone, listen, the volume of a cone, let us call it, the volume of a cone is equals to 1/3 pi r square h. This is the volume of a cone. Now the volume of a cylinder, is pi r square h. This is the volume of the cylinder. Now, because we are told in the question that the radius of the cone is twice the radius of the cone is twice the radius of the cylinder. Do you understand? So in that case, if the radius of the cone is r, if the radius of the cylinder is r, the radius of the cone will be 2 times r. You understand? 2 times r, 2 times r, which is what? 2r. Okay? Now, instead of having r in this volume, we are going to replace it as 2r. Do you understand? Because the question says that the radius of the cone is twice the radius of the cylinder. So now let us rewrite this the volume equation for the cone. Okay, the volume will now be equals to the volume of the cone will now be equals to 1 over 3 pi. Now instead of r squared, I'm going to have 2r squared. Do you understand? Multiplied by height. Okay, so I'm going to have 1 over 3 pi 4r squared multiplied by height. That is the volume of the cone. Then the volume of the cone will now be equals to 4 pi r squared h all over 3. Okay, this is the volume of the cone. Now let us call the height of the cylinder. Let us call it h1. Okay, h2. And let us call the height of the cone. Let us call it h1. Okay. Now the goal is to find the ratio of the height of the cylinder to that of the cone. So now, because the volume are equal, so we are going to set the volume of the cylinder and the volume of the cone, we're going to set them equals to each other. So I'm going to have 4 over 3 pi r square h is equals to pi r square h2. Okay, this is h1. Now, this pi will cancel this pi, and this r square will cancel this r square. So we are left with what? 4 h1 all over 3 is equals to h2, right? Now, having gotten to this point, don't forget that h2 is the cylinder height, you understand? And h1 is the height of the cone. And the goal of the question is to find the ratio of the height of the cylinder all over the height of the cone. So the goals here, the next step is that I'm going to divide both sides by the height of the cone. The height of the cone is what? h1. So I'm going to divide this by h1 and this by h1. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 over 3 is equals to h2 all over h1. Now I can write this as h2 ratio h1 is equals to 4 ratio 3. Okay, that is the height of the cylinder to that the ratio of the height of the cylinder to that of the cone, which is h1, is what? 4 ratio 3. Okay, let's check the correct option. The first option is incorrect. The second option is the correct option, option B. Okay, let us proceed to the next question. Now, we have this diagram. Let me draw the diagram. I'm going to draw the diagram. Just pay attention. This is the diagram that we are having. Then the length of this is 17 meter. This is 19 meter. This is h, and this is 20 meter. Now we have something here. Now this is the diagram that we are given. Find correct to nearest whole number the value of h in the diagram. You see, this is the side that we are asked to calculate. You understand? Because the h belongs to the length of this side. Do you understand? And we have been given that the length of this side is what? Is 17 meter. I can draw a sketch. Please pay attention. I can draw a sketch from this point to this point. You understand? So that means that from this side to this side, okay, this is what we are asked to calculate h, right? Yes. Now, if I draw a sketch from this point to this point, that means that this side, and this side are now equal, which is what? 17 meter. Now, the total length is what I'm asked to calculate. Now, if you check this base as well, this base that you see here, 19 meter, and this is also equal. This also be 19 meter. Do you understand? Now, I know that this from this point to this point is what? 17 meter. Now, what I need to calculate now is the short length of this. You understand? The length from this point to this point. I don't know the length, so I'm going to represent as x, okay? Now, how do I calculate the length of that side? I can bring out the triangle. I can bring out the triangle like this. I'm going to have x here. I'm going to have 19 meter, right? Then this will be 20 meter. Now, using the Pythagoras theorem, I can calculate this short length that you see here. I can calculate it. So, I'm going to have x squared is equals to 20 squared minus 19 squared. Okay, according to Pythagoras theorem, the square of the longest side of the right angle triangle is the sum of the square of the other two sides. You understand? So now the longest side is 20 meter. You understand? So 20 squared will be equals to x squared plus 19 squared, right? Now, but x squared is what I'm asked to calculate. So I'm going to take this 19 squared to the other side of the equation, so it becomes negative. That's why I have here. Because you might be wondering that how do I got this? So I use the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, now 20 squared x squared is equals to 400 minus now. Oh, sorry, I'm coming. Yes, x squared is equals to 400 minus 19 squared is 361. So I'm going to have 361. Now, the goal is to find the value of x. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Okay, so x will be equals to the square root of 400 minus 361. That is 39. So I'm going to have square root of 39. X will be equals to square root of 39 is 6.245. 6.245 meter. Now pay attention. This length that you see here, this shortest length is 6.245 meter. Do you understand? Okay. So now the total length, which is the distance from this point to this point, the distance from this point to this point will be 17 meter. Sorry. 17 meter. Please pay attention. 17 meter plus 6.245 meter. Okay. Now 17 plus 6.245, that is 23.245 meter. 23.245 meter. Now the question says to the nearest whole number, that will be 23 meter. You understand? So h approximates to the nearest whole number, that is 23 meter. Do you understand? Okay. Now this kind of question, if you are versed with angle of elevation and depression, you won't find this question hard to answer in the exam. Okay, because this is a typical example of questions on angle of elevation and depression. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next question. Okay, the gradient of the line joining the points P 2, -8 and Q 1, y is -4. Find the value of y. A 2, B 4, C -4, and D -3. Now I want you to pay attention. Just pay attention, okay? The gradient of the line joining the point. These are the points that we are given. We have 2, -8, and then the second point that we are given is point Q, which are 1, y. Now they say that the gradient of the line joining this point is -4. Gradient is represented as m. You understand? So m is what? Yes, m is -4. Okay. Now we are asked to determine the value of y. How do we calculate the value of y? To get the value of y, we are going to use the formula for gradient. You understand? Because we've been given the gradient in the question. The gradient is what? M, and m is what? -4. Now, according to the formula of gradient, y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. That is the gradient. You understand? Okay. Now, don't forget that the first point and the first coordinate here is x, y, x, y. So this will be x1, and this will be y1. You understand? And this will be this will be x2. This will be y2. Do you understand? Okay. Now y2 is what? Y. So I'm going to have y minus y1. y1 is what? -8. I'm going to have -8. Do you understand? This formula that you see here is what we are in mathematics. We use this formula to determine the gradient. Now, because the gradient has been given, we can easily find the value of y using the gradient formula. Okay, now that's what I'm trying to do. Now, I first identify the value of x1, y1, and x2, y2. Okay, this one that you see here is called coordinate, and in every coordinate we have 2 points. The 2 points represent the x-axis and y-axis, the values on the x-axis and the y-axis. Now, x1 is 2, y1 is -8. Now, according to this formula, y2 minus y1 is y itself, which is the value that we are asked to find. Okay, so y minus y1 is what? -8. So I put the -8 inside the bracket, all over. Oh, sorry, let me change the marker here. This all over x2. X2 is what? 1. So I'm going to have 1 minus x1. X1 is 2. Is equals to m. M is what? -4, which is the gradient. Okay, -4. And you know, I can write -4 as -4 over 1. Okay, so I'm going to have -4 all over 1. Do you understand? Now, from this point, we are going to have y plus 8 all over 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is what? 1 minus 2 is -1. So I'm going to have -1 equals to -4 all over 1. To get the value of y, let us cross multiply. So I'm going to have y plus 8 is equals to -4 times -4. What's the answer? That is 4. So I'm going to have this is equals to 4. To get the value of y equals to 4 minus 8, and that is -4. Okay, the value of y is -4. Let us check the correct option to that question. We have option A, 2, option B, 4, option C, -4, and option D, -3. The right option to that question is option C, which is -4. In the diagram, PQ is parallel to RS. You understand? This line that you see here, this line PQ is parallel to this line RS. That's the first statement that we are made to know. Angle WYZ is equals to 44 degree. Okay, this angle WYZ, this angle that you see here is 44 degree. Yes, and angle WXY is 50 degree. Angle WXY, this angle that you see here is 50 degree. Yes. Okay, find angle WTX. This is the angle that you're looking for. Angle WTX, this angle is what you're looking for. Do you understand? Okay, now how do we get the value of this angle? To get the value of this angle, I'm very sure you are versed with plane geometry. Now, this angle that you see here, angle, let me represent it as y. This angle y that you see here, angle y is equals to 44 degree. The reason is because alternate angle are equal. You understand? This angle that you see here is alternate to this angle. Okay, so I represent this angle as y, and because it is alternate to this angle, alternate angle are equal. So this angle is equals to 44 degree. Alternate angle are equal. Okay, now if this angle is 44 degree, now we can easily get the value of this angle. Let us represent it as angle T, small letter t. We can easily get the value of this angle by using the properties of a triangle. That is, the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degree. You understand? So from triangle WTX, from triangle WTX, the sum of angles in the triangle, which is 44 degree plus 50 degree plus t, is equals to 180 degree. You can write the reason. If you are solving a theory question, you must put your reason. You understand? Okay, so sum of angles in a triangle. Now here we have 44 degree plus 50 degree. That is what? 94 degree plus t equals to 180. Okay, now t is equals to 180 degree minus 94 degree. T is equals to, now 180 degree minus 94 degree, that is 86. Okay, so the value of angle WTX is 86 degree. What is the right option? Option C is correct. Okay, option C is the correct option to that question. Now let us proceed to the next question. The perimeter of a rectangular garden is 90 meters. if the width is 7 meter less than the length, find the length of the garden. A 19 meter, B 23 meter, C 24 meter, D 26 meter. Okay, now let's start by writing out the information that we're given in the question. We are given that the perimeter of a rectangular garden, perimeter of the garden is 90 meter. Okay, we have 90 meter here. Now, if the width is 7 meter less than the length, now we don't know the length, right? So let us represent the length of the garden as x. Okay, now we are given that the width, let me tell you, the width is also the same thing as breadth. Okay, now the width is also the same thing as breadth, so I'm going to represent the width as the breadth. So breadth is equals to 7 meter less than the length. That means that if the length is x, the breadth will be x minus 7. You understand? So x minus 7 meter, x minus 7 meter, that will be the breadth. Do you understand? Because from the question we are made to know that the breadth is the width, or the breadth is 7 meter less than the length. Now we are asked to find the length of the garden. Okay, how do we find the value of x? Well, we can determine the value of x from the formula that that we used to use to calculate the perimeter of a rectangle. Don't forget that the perimeter of a rectangle is equals to 2 multiplied by L plus B. You understand? Don't forget that I told you that breadth is also the same thing as width. Okay, so in some cases you might find it as width, in some cases you might find it as breadth. It doesn't matter. Okay, so because this is an objective question, you can just put breadth. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Now, from this we can get the value of the length, which is x. Okay, let us proceed. The perimeter has been given as 90 meters, so I'm going to have 90 meter is equals to 2 multiplied by L. What is L? L is x, so I'm going to have x, okay, this additional sign, plus breadth. Breadth is what? X minus 7 meters, so I'm going to have plus x minus 7. Do you understand now? Okay, from this now we can solve for the value of x, which is the length of the rectangular garden. Now, okay, so I'm going to have 90 is equals to 2 multiplied by x. X plus x is what? 2x. So I'm going to have plus 2x minus 7, right? Yes. So 90 is equals to 2 times 2x, that is what? 4x. 2 times negative 7, that is negative 14. So the next step is that you have to collect like terms. So I'm going to have 90 plus 14 is equals to 4x. Okay? 4x is equals to 90 plus 14 will give us 104. So I'm going to have 104 here. To get the value of x, divide yourself by 4. X will be equals to 26. Okay? So the length, because we have already represented the length as x, so the length of that rectangular rectangular garden will be 26 meter. Okay? That is the length. Option D is correct. Do you understand? Okay? Let's proceed to the next question. 4 of the angles of a hexagon sum up to 420 degrees. If the remaining angles are equal, find the value of each of the angles. Now, we are given that 4 of the angles of a hexagon. Now, hexagon is a type of polygon that has 6 sides. You understand? Okay? If an hexagon has 6 sides, 4 of the angle is 420 degrees. So that means that, and we are told that the remaining angles are equal. So how many angles does it remain? It remains 2 angles. You understand? So for this, I'm going to have, let each of the angle be x. Let each of the remaining angle equals to x. Now, because the remaining angle that are not summed up to 420 degrees is 2, so I'm going to have x plus 420 degrees equals to the sum of angle in the hexagon. You understand what I'm saying? Listen to me. I'm going to explain, okay? In an hexagon, there are 6 angles. Are you getting it? Now, 4 of these 6 angles are summed up to 420 degrees. So I said we are asked to determine the value of each of the other angles. Now, because we know from our basic mathematics that an hexagon is a polygon that has 6 sides, I mean 6 angles, okay? Now 4 of them is 420 degrees, and we are made to know that the other 2 angles are equal. So if one is x, the other will also be x, okay? So I sum all the angles together, you understand? I sum all the angle x plus 420 degrees equals to the sum of the angle in the hexagon. Now we need to determine the sum of angle in an hexagon. How do we do that? We are going to use the formula of the polygon, you understand? You know that the sum of angles in a regular polygon is given by this: n minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. This is the formula for calculating the sum of angles in a regular polygon. Now, where the value of n is the numbers of sides that the polygon has, you understand? Hexagon is the type of polygon that has 6 sides, you understand? So the value of n will be 6. So to get the value of to get the sum of angles in the hexagon, we're going to have 6 minus 2 multiplied by 180 degrees. You understand? 6 minus 2 is 4. So I'm going to have 4 multiplied by 180 degrees. Do you understand? Now 4 times 180 degrees is equals to 720. So I'm going to have the sum of angle in that hexagon is 720. Now to get the value of x, I can say that x plus 420 degrees equals to the sum of angle in the hexagon. Now we have already calculated the sum of angle in the hexagon as what? 720 degrees. So I'm going to have this degree is equals to 720 degrees. Okay, 2x is equals to 720 degrees minus 420 degrees. Okay, so 2x is equals to, now 720 degrees minus 420 degrees, that was 300 degrees. So I'm going to have this. To get the value of x, divide this by 2. X is equals to 150 degrees. You can see now. So the value of the remaining 2 angles, each of them is what? 150 degrees. Okay, let us look at the correct option. Option A, we have 60 degrees. Option B, 100 degrees. Option C, 120 degrees, and option D, 150 degrees. The correct option to that question is option D, 150 degrees. Do you understand? Okay, now let us proceed to another question. We have this diagram here. Please, I want you to pay attention. We have this diagram. And we have M, we have P, and we have 55 degrees. Here we have X, then we have Q, we have R, okay, and we have S in this place. Now look at the diagram on the board. I do have the diagram so that you'll be able to see it, okay, because the question that we are asked to treat next is based on the diagram. Okay, now find the value of the angle marked X in the diagram. We are given the following option: A 60 degrees, B 65 degrees, C 120 degrees, D 125 degrees. We are asked to find the value of X in this diagram. Now, how do we get the value of X? Okay, we are given this angle as well, 65 degrees. Okay, now how do we get the value of X? To get the value of X, we need to first determine this angle. You understand? If we can know this angle, we can this angle that you see here and this angle that you see here, they are equal. This X that you see here and this value that you see here, they are equal. So if we know this angle, we can easily determine the value of X. Do you understand? Just pay attention. Okay, now to get the angle that is here, you know that bring out the bigger triangle. The bigger triangle is what? Triangle MNP. You understand? This is the bigger triangle, triangle MNP. Okay, this one is 55 degrees, right? Yes, this is 65 degrees, and we don't know the value that is here. Do you understand? So properties of triangle that we're going to use is the sum of angles in the triangle is equals to 180 degrees. Okay, to get the value that is here, let us represent it as y. Okay, so y is equals to 180 degree minus 65 degree plus 55 degree. Okay, do you understand? Okay, so angle y is equals to 180 degree minus 65 degree plus 65 degree, that is 120. Okay, 120 degree. Now y is equals to 60 degree. Now the angle that is here is 60 degree. Now if this angle is 60 degree, this angle will also be, this angle is also 60 degree. Now please pay attention. I'm going to bring out this. What is the name of this shape? Let me quickly do it. What is the name of this shape? This shape is a parallelogram. You understand? So this is 60 degree, this is 60 degree, this is x, and this is x as well. Now the sum of angles in the parallelogram is what, 360 degree, right? Yes. Now I can easily get the value of x by summing all this angle to 360 degree. So I'm going to have x plus 60 degree plus 60 degree is equals to is equals to 360 degree. Okay, so 2x plus 120 degree is equals to 360 degree. 2x is equals to 360 degree minus 120 degree. So 2x is equals to, now 360 degree minus 120 degree, what's the answer? That is 240. You understand? 240 degree. Now to get the value of x, you divide both by 2, right? Yes. So 240 degree divided by 2, that is what? 120. So I'm going to have x is equals to 120 degree. Now the value of x, which is this angle, the value of x is what? 120 degree. Let us look at the correct option to that question. Option C is correct. You understand? Option C is 120 degree. Okay, now for question 39, that is the following are the masses in kilogram of member in a club. They gave us the following masses. You understand? They want us to use the masses that we are given to calculate the mean to answer the question 39 and question 40. You understand? So I want you to pay attention very well. Okay, now the following are the masses in kilogram of members in a club. We have 59, 44, 53, 57, 49, 40, 58. So use the information to answer questions 39 and 40. Okay, now question 39, we are asked to calculate the main mass. Okay, how do we get the main mass of the members that we are given? Well, to get the main mass, just use the formula of arithmetic mean to find the main mass. But let me first write out the masses of the members. We have 59, we have 44, we have 53, we have 57, we have 49, we have 40, we have 48. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's supposed to remain 1. 50, 44, 53, 57, 49, 40, 48. Okay, and 50. Please kindly pay attention. Okay, these are the masses that we have. Okay, 59, 44, 53, 57, 49, 40, 48, and 50. So these are the masses of the member. We want to calculate the mean mass. To get the mean mass, we are going to use the formula for arithmetic mean. The mean mass is equals to the sum of all these masses. You understand? So we are going to sum 59 plus 44 plus 53 plus 57 plus 49 plus 40 plus 48 plus 50 all over 8. Okay, 59 plus 44 plus 53 plus 57 plus 49 plus 40 plus 48 plus 50 all over 8. Now that will be 400 divided by 8. Okay, all this, the sum of all this is 400, so I'm going to have 400 all over 8. 400 divided by 8 is what? 50. So the main mass is 50. The correct option to that question is option C, 50 kilogram. Option C is correct. Okay, now for the next question, we are asked to calculate the variance of the distribution. Okay, variance, which is x squared, is equals to summation f x minus x bar squared all over summation f. This is the formula to calculate if you want to calculate the variance of the distribution. Now let us quickly prepare a table. Our x are the masses of the member. Do you understand? The x are the masses of the member. So all you have to do is that just prepare a table. You're going to have x here. Now with respect to this formula, you're going to have x here. You're going to have x minus x bar. You understand? Then you're going to have x minus x bar squared. Now, then after that, we can have our frequency as well. Do you understand? Then we can have f multiplied by x minus x bar squared. Do you understand? Okay. Now, don't forget that I told you that the x are the masses of the member. So the first mass is 59, the second is 44, the third is 53, the fourth is 57, the fifth is 49, the sixth is 40, the seventh is 48, and the eighth is 50. Okay, now x bar is the mean, you understand, and we've already calculated the mean, so don't forget the mean is 50. So x minus x bar is, for this I'm going to have 59, the corresponding value of x, 59 minus x bar, which is 50. You understand? 59 minus 50 is what? 9. So I'm going to have 9. 44 minus 50, that is what? Negative 6. 53 minus 50, that is 3, right? 57 minus 50, that is 7. 49 minus 50, that is negative 1. 40 minus 50, that is what? Negative 10. Okay? 48 minus 50, that is negative 2, right? Then 50 minus 50, that is 0. Okay? Now, having gotten the value of x minus x bar, this is 0, right? Now, we still need to calculate the value of x minus x bar squared. So, for this, I'm going to have 9 squared, that is 81. Negative 6 squared, that is 36. 3 squared is what? 9. 7 squared is what? 49. Negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 10 squared is 100. Okay? Negative 2 squared is what? 4. And 0 squared is, is 0. Now, the frequency is the numbers of times the masses repeat themselves. You understand? The numbers of times that the masses occur. Now, you can see that all of them occurs maybe a single time. I don't know. 59 one time. So, I'm going to have 1. 44 one time as well. 53 one time. All of them occurs one time. Okay? So, this is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, we have f multiplied by x minus x bar. That means that we're going to take the product of the frequency and their corresponding deviation. You see, this one that, okay, deviation square now. Deviation is x minus x bar, okay? Now, deviation square is x minus x bar square. Now, we're going to take the product of the frequency and the deviation square. So, 1 times 81 will give me 81. 36 here as well. 9, 49, 1, 100, then 4, then 0, okay? So I'm going to take the summation of what I have here. The summation of all these, 81, 36, 9, 49, 1, 100, and 4, the summation is 280. So I'm going to have here 280. Then don't forget that we also need the summation of our frequency, because variance is equal to the summation of the product of the frequency and deviation squared all over the summation of the frequency. So if you sum all these frequencies together, you're going to have 8. So now, from this point, all you have to do now is to divide the product of the frequency and the deviation squared by the summation of the frequency. Okay? So the variance is equals to 280 all over 8. Okay, 280 divided by 8, that is what? 35. So I'm going to have this is equals to 35. Okay, now let us check the correct option to that question. The correct option to that question is option option A. Option A is correct. Do you understand? Option A is correct. Now let us proceed to the next question. Two opposite sides of a rectangle are 5x plus 3 meter and 2x plus 9 meter. If an adjacent side is 6x minus 7 meter, find in meter squared the area of the rectangle. Now pay attention. We are given that two opposite sides of a rectangle. We all know that opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. You understand? So if you are made to known in the question that two opposite sides of a rectangle are these, listen, two opposite sides of a rectangle are 5x plus 3 meter. Let me represent one opposite side. Let's use this one. 5x plus 3, 5x plus 3 meter, and opposite side. This side is opposite to this side, so let us use this side and this side. Now 2x plus 9 meter, 2x plus 9 meter. Now we are now made to know that if an adjacent side is 6x minus 7, and adjacent side is 6x minus 7, well, let me just put it here, 6x minus 7. Now we are asked to find a meter squared, the area of the rectangle. Now we all know that opposite side of the rectangle are what? They are equal. So this side and this side, they are equal. Is that not it? Yes. So I can equate 5x plus 3 is equals to 2x plus 9. The goal is to get the value of x. You understand? If I know the value of x, I can find the area. You understand? Okay. 5x plus 3 is equals to 2x plus 9. 5x plus 2x is equals, if this 2x crosses the equals to sign, the sign is going to change to negative. So I'm going to have 5x minus 2x is equals to 9 minus 3, right? 5x minus 2x, that is 3x. 3x is equals to 9 minus 3, that is 6. So I'm going to have 6, this over 3, this over 3. X is equals to 2. So let us get one of the opposite side. I'm very sure, and I tell you the truth, if you substitute the value of x equals to 2 into any of this or this, you are still going to get the same value. Do you understand? Because all the for a rectangle is a plane shape which the two opposite sides are equal. You understand? The sides that are opposite to each other, they are equal. So x is equals to 2. You can test whether what I said is true or not. Substitute the value of x as 2 in this and x as 2 in this, you are still going to get the same value. Okay, for example, if x is 2, 5 times 2 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13. Here I'm going to have 13 meter, and for this side I'm going to have 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 9 is also 13, so this will also be 13 meter. Now we want to find the area. The area of the rectangle is what? Length times breadth. The area of the rectangle is equals to length times breadth. So the length is 13 meters. So I'm going to have 13 meter multiplied by the breadth. The breadth is this, 6x minus 7. Now x is 2, right? So I'm going to have 6x. 6x means 6 times 2. 6 times 2 minus 7. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 minus 7 is what? 5. Yes. 12 minus 7 is 5. So 13 meter times 5 meter. Do you understand? So 13 meter times 5 meter, that will give us 65 meters squared. 65 meters squared. Okay, so let us check the correct option. The correct option to that question is option B. Option B is correct. Okay, so let us proceed to the next question. A die is tossed once. Find the probability of getting a prime number. A 1 over 2, B 1 over 6, C 1 over 3, D 2 over 3. Okay, a die is tossed once. Now let me ask you a question. How many faces does a die has? A die has 6 faces, right? So let us list it. The faces that the die has, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we are now asked that what is the probability
of getting a prime number. What are prime number? Prime number are numbers that are divisible by 1 and itself without remainder. You understand? For example, 2 is a prime number, 3 is also a prime number, and 5 is a prime number. How many prime number do we have? We have 3 prime number. You understand? We have 3 prime number. Now, according to the basic laws of probability, the probability of getting a prime number is the numbers of prime number over numbers of observation over numbers of occurrence. You understand what I'm saying? Numbers of observation all over numbers of occurrence. That is, numbers of prime number that we have between the range of 1 and 6 all over 6. You understand? Okay? Now, for this, I'm going to have the probability of getting a prime number will be equals to total numbers of prime number all over total numbers of observation. Total numbers of observation. For this, I'm going to have this over 6. I'm going to have 1 over 2, which is the final answer. That means that option A is the correct option. Okay, so that is it. Now, for the next question, we are asked to the area of a sector of a circle with radius 7 cm is 51.3 cm squared. Calculate correct to nearest whole number the angles of the sector. We are asked to take pi equals to 22 over 7. Now, we are given that the area of the sector is what? 51.3 cm squared. The area of the sector, 51.3 cm squared. Now, we are given that the radius is equals to 7 cm. 7 cm. Now, to calculate the angle that the sector make, area of the sector, we are going to use the formula for area of the sector. Area of the sector is equals to theta over 360 multiplied by 2, pi r squared. Pi r squared, okay? This is the formula for calculating the area of a sector. Now, we are asked to determine the angle. The angle that we are looking for is the theta, you understand? And the area has been given as what? 51.3 centimeters squared. So I'm going to have 51.3 centimeters squared is equals to theta. We don't know it. Theta all over 360 multiplied by pi r squared. Pi is 22 over 7. 22 over 7 multiplied by 7 squared. Okay. Now, let's determine the value of theta. For this, I'm going to have 51.3 is equals to theta all over 360 multiplied by 22 times 7. Okay. So, theta is equals to 51.3 times 360 all over 22 times 7. All I did was that I just made theta the subject of the formula, okay? I've not done anything. Now, you can punch your calculator to get the value of theta. Now, if you divide 51.3 times 360 divided by 22 times 7, that will be 119.92. 119 theta is equals to 119.92. Now, because from the question we are asked to correct to the nearest whole number, we are going to have theta will be approximated to 120 degrees. Because if you approximate this line, you're going to have 7. And if you approximate this line, you're going to have 1. 1 plus 19 will give us 120. Okay? 1 plus 119, that will be 120. So the right option to that question is option B is correct. Okay, option B is the correct option to that question. Now, for the next question, a cliff on the bank of a river is 87 meters high. A boat on the river is 22 meters away from the foot of the cliff. Calculate, correct to the nearest degree, the angle of depression of the boat from the top of the cliff. Okay, let us first interpret the question. Okay, this topic is coming from angle of elevation and depression. You understand? So I want to pay attention very well. Okay, now from the question, a cliff on the bank of a river is 87 meters high. Now let us call this the cliff. Okay, let's call this the cliff is 87 meter high. So we have 87 meter. This is the bank of the river. You understand? This is the bank of the river, and here the boat on the river is 22 meters away from the foot of the cliff. So let us assume that this is the boat. You understand? We have the boat here. The boat is 22 meters away from the cliff. So the distance between the boat and the cliff here, don't mind my diagram, okay? Just pay attention. the boat is 22 meters away from the foot of the cliff. Calculate correct to the nearest degree the angle of depression of the boat from the top of the cliff. Okay, this is the angle that I have to calculate. This is the diagram that you're going to have. Okay, this is the diagram that you're going to have. We have to calculate the angle. Calculate the angle of depression of the boat from the top of the cliff. Now, maybe you missed our class on angle of elevation and depression. You can always check the channel, check the playlist on this channel to watch those classes. Okay, so now we want to calculate the angle of depression. Let me bring out the diagram very well so that you can see. This is the diagram, right angle triangle. We have 22 meters here and we have 87 meters. We have angle theta here. This angle is alternate to this angle. If this angle is alpha, listen. Okay, let's use theta. If this angle is theta, this angle will also be theta. You understand? Okay. Now, to get the angle, to get the angle of depression, we need to use the combination from our basic trigonometry. You know that there is a topic known as there is a mnemonic device known as SOHCAHTOA. So it is that you are going to use to calculate the theta. Now, what combination combine? This is opposite and this is adjacent. What combination combine opposite and adjacent together? The combination is tan theta. Okay, so to get the theta, I'm going to have tan theta is equals to opposite. The opposite is 87 all over adjacent, which is 22. So theta is equals to the tan inverse of 87 over 22. Okay, so theta is equals to, now 87 divided by 22, that is 3.9545. Tan inverse of 3.9545. Okay, so theta is equals to the inverse of tan 3.9545. That is 75.8 degree. 75.8 degree. Now we are told to approximate to the nearest. Please pay attention. You have to approximate to the nearest degree. So if you want to approximate, we're going to have theta is equals to 76 degree. Do you understand? Okay, so that is the solution to that question. The correct option is option A. Okay, let's move to the next question. In the diagram on the board, TU is a tangent to the circle SPQR. You see? Please go. TU P S R S S R. Okay, let's proceed to the next question. In the diagram, TU is a tangent to the circle SPQR. This line TU that you see here touch this circle at this point. You understand? So it's a tangent to this circle. Okay. Now, at P, if angle PTS is 44 degree, angle PTS, this angle that you see here is 44 degree, and angle SQP is 35 degree. Angle SQP, this angle that you see here is 35 degree. Find angle PTS. Find angle PTS. Angle PST. Sorry, we have to find angle PST. This is the angle that you're looking for. This angle that you see here is the angle that you're looking for. Okay. Now we don't know the angle, right? So let us represent it like as y. Okay. Now,
angle, please pay attention. I want to start the solution right now, okay? This is circle geometry, and in circle geometry, there are many theorems. And one of the theorem is that angles in alternate segments are equal. You understand? So now, angle SQP is equals to angle, please pay attention, angle SPT. The reason is that alternate angles in the alternate segments are equal. Do you understand? Angles in the alternate segment are equal. So this angle that you see here is equals to this angle, that is 35 degrees. Do you understand? Okay, now having gotten angle SPT as 35 degrees, I can easily calculate for the value of y using the sum of angles in a triangle. Okay, so for this I'm going to have y plus 44 degrees plus 35 degrees equals to 180 degrees. That is sum of angles in a triangle. So to get the value of y, I can sum this up. I'm going to have y plus now 44 degrees plus 35 degrees, that is 78 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to have plus 79 degrees equals to 180 degrees. Okay, y equals to 180 degrees minus 79 degrees. Y equals to 101. Okay, that is the value of y. So the angle angle PST that we have to look for is 101 degrees. Do you understand? Okay, let's check the correct option to that question. We have option A. Option A is 101 degrees, which is correct. Option B 125, option C 130 degrees, and option D 135 degrees. The right option to that question is option A. Do you understand? Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. Question 46 now. The probability that Amaka will pass an examination is 3/7 and that Bala will pass is 4/9. Find the probability that both will pass the examination. Okay, now please listen to the question. The probability that Amaka will pass an examination is 3/7. So probability that Amaka pass the exam is that is 3/7. Yes. Then the probability that Bala will pass exam is 4/9. So the probability that Bala will pass the exam is 4/9, right? Yes. Now, what is the probability that both of them will pass an examination? Okay, the probability that both of them will pass the examination is the product of this and this. Okay, the probability that both Amaka and Bala will pass the examination is the product of the probability of pass for Amaka and that of pass for Bala. You understand? So for this, I'm going to have 3/7 multiplied by 4/9. Okay, 3 here 1, 3 here 3. Okay, 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to have 4/21. Do you understand? Okay, so let's check the correct option. We have option A 2/21, option B 4/21, option C 5/21, option D 9/21. The right option is option B 4/21. Okay, now let us proceed to the next question. Which of the following points lies on the line 3x minus 8y equals to 11? Okay, we are given the points in the The points are A 1,1, B 1,-1, C -1,1, and D -1, -1. Okay, now let us check 47. That's for question 47. Which of the following point lies on the line 3x minus 8y? 3x minus 8y equals to 11. Now, listen to me carefully. Any point that is going to lie on this any point that is going to lie on this line, it must satisfy the line. Are you paying attention? That is, the value of x and y must satisfy this equation. Do you understand? Listen to me. On every point we have coordinates, right? Coordinate x, y. You understand? That is two values. And if you check the option, we're having two values, right? Yes. Now, any point that will satisfy this satisfy this line, by the time I substitute the value of x and y, I must get 11. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So the first option is 1,1. So we have first option 1,1. Now, if x is 1 and y is 1, let us substitute. I'm going to have 3 times 1, right? That is 3, right? 3. Then -1 times 1, that is what? -8. 3 minus 8 is what? -5. This option A is not correct. Okay. Now, option B, we have 1, -1. Option B, 1, -1. 1, -1. Okay. If x is 1 and y is -1,
let us substitute the values into this equation. 3 times 1, when x is 1, 3 times 1 is 3, yes. Negative 1 times negative 8 times negative 1, that is what? Positive 8. That is 3 plus 8. That will be what? 11. So this line, which is option 2, satisfy the equation. Hence, the point that lies on this line is 1, negative 1. Do you understand? Maybe I should take the explanation again, okay? I told you that any point that lies on this line, it must satisfy the line. The meaning of satisfying means that by the time I substitute the value of x and y, which are the coordinates of that point, I must get 11. Do you understand? And I try for one in the first options, it doesn't give me 11, you can see. And when I check the second option, it gives me 11. If you check for the third and the fourth option, you're not going to get 11. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? You can test it. So the right option to that question is option B, okay? 1, negative 1, okay? Now let us proceed to the next question. Find the range of the following set of numbers. We have 28, 29, 39, 38, 33, 37, 26, 20, 15, and 25. A, 22. B, 24. C, 25. D, 27. Well, you know that range is the maximum value minus the minimum value among our data set. You understand? The maximum value in our data set minus the minimum value will give us the range of that data, okay? So now, in an attempt to help you to calculate the range, first identify the maximum value, okay? First identify the maximum value. The maximum value among that data set is 39, right? Yes. So the maximum value is 39, and the minimum value is what? Okay, let me give you the formula for range. Range is equals to maximum value minus the minimum value. Okay, so the maximum value among that data set is 39. Okay, so I'm going to have 39 here minus the minimum value. The minimum value is 15, so I'm going to have 39 minus 15. 39 minus 15 is 24. Okay, so the right option to that question is option B. Okay, that is the right option to that question. It's 24. Okay, now for question 49. For question 49, the fourth and the eighth terms of an arithmetic progression are 16 and 40 respectively. Find the common difference. Okay, please kindly pay attention. Okay, kindly pay attention. It's simple. Okay, let's go. The fourth and the eighth terms of an arithmetic progression are 16. So the fourth term is what? Let me say it. T4 is what? 16. And the eighth term, T8, is equals to what? 40. Now, find the common difference. How do we get the common difference? Now, don't forget that an arithmetic progression is a type of sequence whereby the successive term differs by a constant and by a constant. That constant is what we call the common difference. Do you understand? So now let's go. The nth term of an arithmetic progression is given by this formula: a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. Do you understand? Okay. Now, if this is the nth term, if you want to calculate the terms in any arithmetic progression, you are going to make use of this formula. Do you understand? Now, we have been given that the fourth term is what? 16, right? So T4 is 16, so I'm going to have 16 equals to a plus, now n will be 4 now because the fourth term has been given as 16. Do you understand? Okay, I'm going to have 4 minus 1 multiplied by d. Okay, so I'm going to have 16 is equals to a plus 3d rather. So call this one equation 1. Do you understand? Now we have been given that the eighth term is also 40. Do you understand? So in this case, I'm going to have T8, which is what? 40. Let us write it with another one. 40 is equals to a plus, now because we are dealing with 8th term now, the value of n will be 8. I'm going to have 8 minus 1 multiplied by d. Okay, so I'm going to have 40 is equals to a plus 7d. Call this one equation 2. Okay, now we have two equations. We have a pairs of equation which can be solved simultaneously. Do you understand? Now if you want to solve this equation simultaneously, okay, let me write this for very well. This is okay, 7d. A plus 7d. Now we can solve this equation simultaneously. You can use elimination method or substitution method. So let us combine both equations. I have equation 1, a plus 3d equals to what? Equals to 16, and then equation 2, a plus 7d equals to 40. I can eliminate a. Are you there? I can eliminate a by subtracting equation 2 from equation 1. Okay, this is equation 2. So let us subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So let us put minus. A minus a is 0. You understand? 3d minus 7d, that is what? Minus 4d, right? Equals to 16 minus 40. That will give us 24. Okay, so I'm going to have 24 here. Minus 24 rather. 16 minus 40. A minus a, 0. 3d minus 7d, negative 4d. 16 minus 40, that is what? Negative 24. Do you understand? Now, we are having negative 24. What is the next step? We are looking for d. Just divide both sides by negative 4. Are you getting it? So, I'm going to have this over negative 4 and this over negative 4. D is equals to 6. Do you understand? Because 6 times 4 will give us 24. So, let us check for the right option in that question. We have A, negative 6. B, 6. C, negative 2. D, 2. The right option to that question is option B, which is 6. Do you understand? Okay, let's proceed to the next question, which is question 50, which is the last question for the OBJ 2024. That's the last question. So okay, now for what values of y is y plus 2 all over 8y squared minus 10y plus 3 not defined? Okay, now listen to me. In mathematics, a statement is undefined if the result is invalid. Now, because in the question we are having a fraction and whose denominator is a quadratic equation, so all you have to do is that just set the denominator equals to 0. Do you understand? Okay, the meaning of that question is that for what value of y will this fraction be undivided? It means that for what value of y will the denominator equals to 0? You understand? Because if the denominator is equivalent to 0, the numerator over 0 will give us an invalid result. You understand? And that will make it undefined. Okay, so in that case, all you have to do is that just set the denominator equals to 0. So you can see we have the fraction y plus 2 all over 8y squared minus 10y plus 3. Okay, so in an attempt to help us to solve for the value of y that will make this fraction to be undefined, all you have to do is that just set the denominator equals to 0. So I'm going to have 8y squared minus 10y plus 3 equals to 0. Then solve for the value of y. Okay, now we want to solve for the value of y. What can we add together that will give us negative 10? And by the time we take their product, we're going to have 24. This we've learned how to solve quadratic equation using factorization method in our previous class. So if you missed that class, make sure you check the channel and watch those classes. Okay, there I explain in details how to factorize and solve quadratic equation using the factorization method, and even completing the square and the general formula as well. Okay, so make sure you check the channel. Now, what can we add together that will give us negative 10? And if we take their product, the product of these two numbers, we're going to have 24. Well, the value are negative 6 and negative 4. Let us try it. Negative 6 plus negative 4. What's the answer? Negative 6, negative 4. That's what? Negative 10. Now, negative 6 times negative 4. What's the answer? That is what? 24. Okay, so those values that we need are negative 6 and negative 4. So in that case, I'm going to replace this negative 10 as negative 6 and negative 4. So I'm going to have 8y squared minus negative 6 minus 4. Okay, sorry, minus 6 minus 4y plus 3 equals to 0. Do you know what I did? I just replaced this negative 10 as negative 6, negative 4. Negative 6, negative 4 means that negative 10. You understand? Okay, so negative 6, negative 4 means negative 10. So in that case, I can write this as 8y squared minus 6y minus 4y plus 3 equals to 0. Do you understand? Okay, having done that, you can rearrange the equation. We're going to have 8y squared minus 4y minus 6y plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, now we can factorize. How do we factorize? Let us factorize this part and then factorize this part. Let's factorize the first part. What is common to 8y squared and negative 4y? 4y is common, so I'm going to have 4y multiplied by, now I'm going to have 2y minus 1. Okay, now what is common to negative 6y and plus 3? That is minus 3. Minus 3 is common to both negative 6y and plus 3. So I'm going to have this 2y minus 1, okay? This will be equals to 0. Now, please pay attention. You want to learn more on these topics, quadratic equation, there is a playlist on this channel. Make sure you watch those videos, okay? Check the playlist. There are many classes that I've already done on this, okay? So make sure you watch those classes. Now, having gotten to this point, the next step is that you can see that this bracket, the content in this bracket is also the same thing as what we have here. So all you have to do is that just set 2y minus 1 equals to 0, 2y minus 1 equals to 0, and what you have outside the bracket as well, set it equals to 0. So I'm going to have 4y minus 3 equals to 0. Now make y the subject of the relation in every of these linear equations. So I'm going to have y equals to 1 over 2, and for this I'm going to have y equals to 3 over 4. Okay, so the values of y that will make the expression y plus 2 over 8y squared minus 10y plus 3 to be undefined is y equals to 1 over 2 and 3 over 4. Y equals to 1 over 2 and 3 over 4. So the correct option to that question is option D. Okay, so don't forget, I told you that even it might not be a quadratic. You might not have a quadratic at the denominator now, but when you hear the word undefined and you are given something like this in the exam, just set the denominator equals to 0 and solve for the value of the variable that you have there. Okay, so that's what the solution for 2024 mathematics. So if you are a student that is preparing for these exams, this is for you.
Before you go, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you like and share the video to your friends, okay? And also don't forget to give me feedback. Tell me what you learned in the video, tell me what you learned in the course of the class, tell me what you don't understand also, and in addition, tell me the topics that you want to learn, the topics that you don't understand, okay? God will help you in your forthcoming exam. See you in the next class.